That was risky because I made this title at halftime. Brandon Ingram lights the Miami Heat on fire. That's pretty creative. Give the video a like for that. Brandon Ingram put on a shot making masterclass against a team that, quite frankly, came out and showed some grit and some toughness initially. The Miami Heat came out. They showed that they were ready to compete. And Scottie Barnes picks up two quick fouls. The Raptors are down close to double digits very quickly. And for whatever reason, I have to ask, what was Eric Spoelstra thinking with some of these matchups on Brandon Ingram tonight? Pele Larson, Davion Mitchell, what are we doing? And the adjustment did not come soon enough. I mean, if he is paying attention at all to the Toronto Raptors, Brandon Ingram struggles significantly with double teams. But putting Davion Mitchell as a one-on-one defender on a 6'9" shooter who shoots from above his head is not a good matchup. Now, I understand the theory, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's a lot of good things to take away from tonight. Number one, I'm going to say this is a good feeling for Brandon Ingram. Obviously, this is a player who has been much maligned, much ignored, much slept on, much forgotten about. This is something that he talked about extensively. And so, from an empathetic standpoint, you have to understand that performances like this mean a lot to players like Brandon Ingram, specifically players who see themselves as bucket getters and stars in the league. This is the type of performance that can put you on some maps, on some radars. And especially from a long-term perspective, this does a lot for his trade value. I mean, putting on a performance like this in what is arguably a must-win situation for the Toronto Raptors, the way that he was able to get shots, the way he was able to get downhill, I don't even care about the 38 points. And 38 points are great, but, on 13 for 23 shooting, most of it came, relatively within the offense. There's a couple of times where later in the game, his team was trying to feed him to make sure that he got to 40, and it was kind of awful to watch. But honestly, like, I'm not going to let the last 5 minutes of Brandon Ingram take away from what was incredible performance. So that's at least one major positive. I'll give you my second positive of tonight. Colin Murray-Bohls. Colin Murray freaking Boyles immediately came in. And when he came in, when Jacoby and Colin Murray-Boyles came in, when Scottie Barnes and I think Emmanuel quickly went out, Jamal Shed came in, that unit was just beautiful to watch. And it was largely because CMB was just doing everything defensively. He got up on Kel'el Ware. He got into the gaps on Bam Adebayo. He closed out to shooters. Colin Murray-Boyles was the Raptors' best defender tonight, and it was not close. He anchored the Raptors' defense in very, very awesome ways, and I'm not surprised to see his plus-minus at all. Colin Murray-Boyles has been on a tear the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of theory about the rookie wall, how rookies hit a wall. Colin Murray-Boyles may have had a blessing in disguise by having so many injuries earlier in the season, and he's had so many breaks, but he's not really hitting the same wall that a lot of rookies would had he played 82 games. And that's a good thing for the Toronto Raptors, because if the Raptors are going to be competitive in the playoffs at all, and by the way, tonight's game pretty much is looking like it's going to lock up a playoff spot for the Raptors, because as we speak right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are getting slaughtered by the Houston Rockets. We're talking 70-96, did not show up, falling down the standings, probably in the play-in. And if Joel Embiid doesn't come back, we're talking probably getting bounced and going to the lottery. So, shout outs to Nick Nurse. Good luck with those guys, as he says. But Colin Murray-Boyles and Brandon Ingram are going to be the hugest swing factors for the Raptors in any playoff series. CMB's defense will be critical for when Jakob Poeltl inevitably gets played off the floor, when Scottie Barnes inevitably gets overtaxed with carrying, a lot of defensive liabilities. Colin Murray-Boyles can come in and be a matchup stopper. And the beautiful thing about CMB is it really doesn't matter who you face. There's always going to be a player that he can go on and stop. I am at a point right now where, apart from maybe Donovan Mitchell, I'm pretty much ready to trust this guy on just about anyone. So not Donovan Mitchell, not Jalen Brunson, but if we are facing, I don't know, Evan Mobley, I'm good with it. James Harden, I'm good with it. James Harden might be a little crafty. Jared Allen, no problem. Karl Anthony Towns, no problem. This is a Swiss Army knife if I've ever seen one. If you watch my video ranking out every single Raptors rookie as a defender, you will have no surprises that I put CMB at number one over OG, over Scottie, over Marcus Camby, over everybody. And there's a reason for that because the dude is freaking amazing. Today on the panel, I tried to get off a take that I thought he was a significantly better defender than Alex Sarr. And people actually thought that I was crazy. I don't think those people are watching this guy. He is not just one of the best rookie. He's not one of the best. He's not one of the best rookie defenders in recent memory. He might already be one of the best defenders in the NBA. I'm not even kidding. Like, I think he's probably a top 35 defender right now. Like, the Raptors really have something with this guy. So I'm really glad to see him have a great game because he really did. Um, Colin Murray-Bohls had 17 points, didn't miss a single shot, lots of dunks, lots of layups, including a whoop-de-woo shot, plus 21, amazing, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 offensive rebounds, just pitch perfect basketball within his role. Nothing flashy, nothing, but honestly, if you understand this game at all, you were so impressed with Colin Murray-Bohls. He's not playing like a rookie at all. He is not playing like a rookie at all. And if the Raptors can get a stretch big to play with this guy, if he's going to be on the second unit next year, and I'm not really sure he's going to be on the second unit, I think he's probably going to be too good. You're going to have to start him next year. But I'm just saying, if he's on the second unit next year and Jacoby's still on the second unit and the Raptors roll back this same core, as much as I do not want them to, with small tinkerings, if you can get a stretch big to play with this guy, you're going to unlock possibly one of the most beastly second units in the NBA next year. He's really good. Like, I cannot say enough. I don't know about the ceiling. I don't know what he's going to be in 5 years. I'm telling you who he is today. He's amazing. Sandro Mamukelashvili, uneventful, but very important. Spacing was very good. Good to see Manuel quickly get off the schneid a little bit, hit a few threes. Good to see him just back on the court, looking a little bit more like his regular self. Didn't dominate possessions too much. I didn't love his game, if I'm being honest, but hey, shout outs. Jakob Poeltl, a completely uneventful game for him as well. I think 2 rebounds in 17 minutes is pretty pathetic, quite frankly, for your starting center who's a 7-footer. And Jakob Poeltl just has not been moving that great recently. And tonight was no exception. I think he was thoroughly outplayed by both of his backups, and that's been happening for a couple of weeks now. So if this continues to happen, I wonder how long you go before you make the adjustment and just starting Sandro Mamukelashvili or Colin Murray-Bohls just so that you can get off on better starts. Because I do think that Jakob Poeltl mucks up your spacing in significant ways. And when he cannot catch the ball, when he cannot be a force on the offensive rebounds, like, that's a huge part of what Jakob is supposed to bring. He's supposed to bring connective passing, which is completely negated by how much ball dominance you have on the court right now. He is absolutely supposed to bring offensive and defensive rebounding, which really isn't happening right now. He's supposed to bring rim protection, which hasn't been happening for 2 years. So at this point, you're really just banking on him setting screens and him being able to hit floaters. And I think Colin Murray-Bohls just brings a lot more to the table, and Sandro obviously brings a lot more to the table. So again, you are paying your 3rd or 4th best center option right now to start for you. And I got bad news for you. It gets a lot worse. RJ Barrett. Look, man, very assertive game for RJ Barrett. I'm going to try not to do what I did when Fred VanVleet had his 2020 game, which is bog you down with my general unimpressed nature. Sorry, this is not good English. Let me start over. I'm going to try not to be myself here. I like to be myself. It's a great thing. It's kind of made this channel what it is that I remain unfiltered. But this is a good moment for the Raptors, and I'm not going to try and muck it up with my RJ criticism right now. I think it's cool that RJ Barrett had 22 points on 15 shots. That's nice. He took a lot of attempts. To anyone who's wondering why Scottie Barnes didn't have a single field goal in the first half, uh, maybe we'll get to that in the film session. We'll get to that in the film session. Anyways, speaking of good things that happened for the Toronto Raptors, I think Jamal Shead was awesome today too. I think he was really good. Speaking of bad things that happened, okay, I'll give you one more good thing. Scottie Barnes only played 25 minutes tonight. Part of that was his foul trouble. Part of that was just, I don't think he was that great tonight. Honestly, I really don't. I love that Scottie hit both his threes. This is following up a game where he also went 2 for 2 from 3. I have been specifically ordered by a lawyer to not talk about Scottie Barnes' three-point percentage ever again, so I'm not going to and tell you, like, what does this mean for the percentages, and, "Oh my god, he's approaching Steph Curry, and the last time somebody hit 4 threes in a row, it was Kawhi Leonard." I'm not gonna do that. I promise I'm not gonna do that. All I wanna say is, shout outs to Scottie Barnes, for hitting some threes. It's nice, standing in the corner. Scottie Barnes was basically PJ Tucker tonight. Just really just a maxed out PJ Tucker. And I think that kind of sucks, if I'm being honest, but also that's great for him. He did not play defense at all tonight. Is that just me? Like, he just wasn't good defensively. He missed closeouts. He missed cutters. He was late rotating. He got scored on a bunch of times. Jaime Hawkes scored over him. Tyler Hero scored over him. Kalel Ware in the corner. He missed the rotation. Scottie Barnes was on another planet defensively tonight. But it's just the thing with Scottie is there's almost no in between with Scottie. It's so weird. Like, there's a lot of players where they go 7 out of 10 and it's like still a decent game. When Scottie goes 7 out of 10, it's just a really bad game. And offensively, he was fine. I think he was pretty connective. I think he did a great job of, playing with the basketball and playing without the basketball, getting out of the way, spacing to the corner. I've mentioned it before. I hate Scottie Barnes standing in the corner, but hey, man, if you're going to stand in the corners, you might as well make your threes. It's cool. And I think he was just content on a back to back with the back to back coming, knowing that he's going to have to play for his life tomorrow and knowing that he put up 25 points just 2 games ago and it was a pretty taxing 25, getting downhill, getting hit a lot. I just think I'm happy that he got to play 25 minutes tonight and just have a really easy night. But that being said, like, if you're going to win in the playoffs, this is going to be your best player. This is going to be your most impactful player. He's going to have to rev up on defense. He's going to have to play the type of defense he was playing like 2-3 months ago. He's going to have to play the kind of offense he was playing 5 months ago. And you're going to need a full two-way impact from him. You're going to need assertiveness from him. You're going to need like connective passing from him. You're going to need him to demand touches. You're going to need him to initiate possessions. The Raptors really did not play Raptors basketball tonight. They played Brandon Ingram basketball tonight. Like, everything went through Ingram. And honestly, you can't really blame him. It's really fun to watch a guy go downhill the way Ingram did. And honestly, I'm really just hoping that this is the Ingram we get in the playoffs, because if this is the Brandon Ingram you get in the playoffs, this is a very different team. The Brandon Ingram we saw tonight was not Brandon Ingram settling for corner jump shots and Brandon Ingram settling for pound dribble, fade away, fade away, fade away. I mean, there was plenty of that, and he made some of those. But the Brandon Ingram we saw tonight was getting 2 feet in the paint, was elevating over guys. Twice he went up for a dunk, didn't complete the dunk, out jumped his offensive counterpart, and ended up getting the offensive rebound. Like, that's really amazing. Like, Brandon Ingram, this springy, this active. And look, man, I've always said this. Guys have different levels they can get to. I know Scottie has a different level. I think we've all seen that level. I think he's learned how to kind of access that level, hopefully. So in the playoffs, we can see like that super springy speed down the court Scottie, who's pushing everything in transition, speeding everywhere defensively. But you don't want to do that for 82 games. But Brandon Ingram, for whatever reason tonight, decided, okay, we're not losing this game. This is a must win. And he just took over. And I loved watching it. I loved watching 85 to 90% of it. It was awesome. Final takeaway kind of sucked was that third unit, or fourth unit, fifth unit, eighth unit, whatever it is. That unit proceeded to nearly give up what was at the time a 25 to 30, almost 30 point, 25-point lead. This has happened multiple times to the Raptors, and I think it's really depressing to know that Grady Dick is on the court almost every time it happens. And I know it's not really his fault, although he does end up taking like a lot of the offensive initiation. But the Raptors just had nothing; they couldn't do anything. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, that means Elijah Martin is shit, and Jonathan Mobo is shit, and everyone's shit." That's Jamison Battle and Grady Dick, and they've played a lot of positive lineup minutes this year. Jonathan Mobo is an awesome defender. Uh, Elijah Martin has had moments and spurts this year where it's been encouraging. You just can't put all these players on the court at the same time, right? So, yeah. So, anyways, let's get to the team stats, and then we'll just get to the film breakdown, and then we will get Professor Pixel on. Okay, so All right, let's go here. So the Raptors ended up shooting worse from the field. That's not actually that surprising to me at all. The Raptors shoot 51% from the field. Their defense was putrid tonight. When is the last time the Raptors won a game where they allowed the opponent to shoot 56% from the field and 40% from the 3-point line? That's insane. The Raptors win this game largely on the glass, 10 offensive rebounds to 6, an overall differential of 6 total. The Raptors end up losing the assist battle for the first time in my like I can't remember the last time the Raptors lost the assist battle, but the Raptors had 24 assists tonight. Another evidence that they just did not play their style of basketball. The defense was on point though. 9 steals. They forced a ton of turnovers, 15 turnovers for the Heat, which really handed the Raptors the game. And Tyler Hero just kind of mentally checking out of this game, I think really, really helped the Raptors a lot. Moving over to the film session, this is going to be pretty brief, and then we can just get to the call-ins. Okay. This possession is kind of depressing if you think about what the implication is. Here, Jakob Poeltl is going to get the ball from RJ Barrett. It is a 7-footer who is a grown-ass man on Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell pushes him off the block. I want you to conceptualize what I just said. A 6-foot point guard push your starting center off the block. Now, I understand physics. I understand low center gravity, high center gravity, but still, and I know Davion is hella strong, but the idea that your 7-foot center cannot score on this mismatch is actually kind of sad. What makes it worse is your 6'6" former Gatorade National Player of the Year cannot make this shot. I just want you to see how open this fucking shot is. And if you ever want to understand why I have an issue with RJ Barrett on this team long term, this shot is an epitome of that. But there's a lot to say about this dude tonight. Now, we go down the other way, and here we are on the defensive end. And what's going to happen on the defensive end? You want to take a guess? That's right. Davion Mitchell is just going to beat Jakob Poeltl off the dribble. Now, Davion has little to absolutely no self-creation. He is not a pull-up jump shooter. He's a set shot maker. He can hit some threes, but usually these threes are pretty wide open and creative for others. This is not Darius Garland out there. There's no reason to guard him like he's Darius Garland. And Jakob Poeltl is doing a pretty good job of just kind of staying back. But he gets his feet a little bit crossed up. Scottie Barnes does not help enough. And there we are. Davion Mitchell cooking the Toronto Raptors. This was a bad start. Now, speaking of players who just make some crazy plays that drive me absolutely banana sandwich, here is Emmanuel Quickley processing the court in real time. And, some of these moments really. Okay, so first of all, let's break this down. This is an offensive foul. This is as clear an offensive foul as humanly possible. You have no bag. You are not able to create separation off of Davion Mitchell. You probably shouldn't be trying to go at Davion Mitchell one-on-one without some assistance anyway, because Davion's a hell of a point of attack defender. But nevertheless, let's forget the fact that you get away with this. You've also driven right into help because you don't process the court and you haven't done anything to organize the court before you make your move. And here, you're going to pump fake. You're basically going 1-on-2 against their 2 best defenders, and you're hoping for success. And you know what? By some divine miracle, you get open. But of course, you launch off your right foot, shoot with your left hand. This is like how toddlers play basketball. This is exactly how a child would shoot this basketball. It's insane. And the fact that these plays happened one at a time, like back to back, was really, really destroying my head. Now, thank God the second unit came in and cleaned some shit up. Here's Jacoby Walter beating Tyler Hero, the helpless defender, off the dribble, and Jamal Shed, always wide open. But now he's actually hitting his shots. And this is the 6th straight game in which Jamal Shed has hit a 3. And that is a huge relief because he is so positive for the Raptors' point of attack defense, pace, playmaking in general. Now, I have to say, when I saw Brandon Ingram start attacking downhill, I was like, very suspicious that Brandon Ingram was going to have a crazy good game. He just had a certain pep to his step that players have when they're about to have a really good game. And this right here against Pelle Larsson, I don't look. I saw a graphic the other day that had Look at RJ Barrett kind of watching that, like, that's how you do it. Okay. So look, I saw a graphic the other day that had Eric Spoelstra as one of the Mount Rushmore head coaches. Please don't make me laugh. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. He's definitely one of the best coaches in the last 15 years. But can we please stop being disrespectful? There are so many coaches throughout NBA history who have been better. So many. Some of them haven't won championships, but they are incredible coaches. There's a coach over in Boston that I actually like a little bit more than him. And that's kind of crazy to say, but he has a championship to his name as well. And I got to tell you, like, some of these adjustments really made me think Eric Spoelstra was either losing the locker room or losing his mind. Here, why do you have Davion Mitchell guarding Brandon Ingram still? I mean, he's been torching you for 3 straight minutes at this point. Now here, Ingram is just gonna come off this CMB screen, solid job holding, and right here, Ingram is just able to take 1 step, and as you can see, Davion Mitchell is doing a perfect job. But there's a physics advantage here that frankly you cannot compensate for. He is a 6 foot guard with so length. That is a 6'9" demon with a 7'4" wingspan. You're not gonna be able to stop that. This would be like trying to put Gary Payton on Rasheed Wallace. Like, yes, he's a great defender, but he's still Gary Payton, and that's still Rasheed Wallace. Like, people need to start thinking about Brandon Ingram as like a combo forward. He's not a guard. Like that's a grown ass man who's like power forward size. Okay. Alvin Williams said this reminded of Vince Carter. I just want to. This was awesome. Please don't ever talk about someone being Vince Carter. First of all, he used Kalel Ware to launch, and Ingram got at most 25 inches off the ground there. Vince Carter was getting clear 40, 45. Okay. Now, is this a foul? I don't know. Honestly, man, Ingram leads in with his arm. Kalel Ware goes up, but he's leaning forward. You could argue both players fouled each other. So I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with it. Don't call a foul on anybody. Ingram gets the putback. But man, uh, Ingram has a 40-inch vert, by the way. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If that is true, that's insane. I don't think I've ever really seen him do that, but I think you did mention earlier that you played against him in high school. Verts do go down as guys age and have a ton of injuries. I would very much doubt that he has more than a 35-inch vert at this point. But that being said, Vince Carter had like a 48-inch vertical, man. But still, the last time you saw a player do that was probably DeMar DeRozan. So that's pretty cool, man. Good job. Good job by Brandon Ingram. Now, again, when people say that Alex Sarr is a better defender than Colin Murray-Boyles, I really don't think they understand what the fuck they're watching. And I'm not even trying to be rude about it. It's just like, I don't know how you take what Colin Murray-Boyles, his ability to absorb. First of all, to the point podcast. So who's the lunatic you're talking about? By the way, thanks for being on our show then before you started this channel. What lunatic? What are you talking about? I wasn't talking about you. Um, the lunatic who covered it, I was talking about Raptors moments, and then Raptors moments showed that it was somebody else who cut it. So that's who I'm talking about. Anyways, okay. Everybody in Toronto wants a fucking piece of me right now, man. This is fucking crazy. Anyways, let's get to this. Look, the first thing here is taking this bump right here and still being able to recover is something that very few defenders can do. It requires stability, it requires strength, it requires balance, it requires so many things. It's a rare cocktail. Most people get knocked off. Jaime Jaquez is not weak. He is a big boy. Okay. That is a very strong ass dude. Okay. Jaime Jaquez is built. So when he bumps you with his shoulder into your rib like this, the normal thing to do is to go flying over and get completely out of position. The idea that he can absorb this bump and still get the block on a 6'7" guy is kind of insane and gives me a lot of faith that he is going to be able to do a great job on Carlton Towns. I don't know who's talking about this, but you're hearing it, man. Now, Let's talk about this play. Does anyone want to tell me? How about this? We got nearly 300 people in here. Why don't you tell me? Why don't y'all break this play down? Give me, please give me a Okay, how about this? Yo, to the point. I don't know if y'all are still watching. There is a call-in link in the description. If you would like to call in for 2 to 3 minutes to clear the air on whatever, call in. We can talk. You can call in from your phone, and you can set the record straight on where I was on Scottie Barnes, the Jalen Suggs clip. We can just air that out in 2 seconds. Also, would be kind of cool to hear from you again. But yes, okay. Let's get to this. Can y'all please? I'm gonna let this play in slow motion. No, I'm gonna play this 3 times. I'm gonna let this play out in fast, normal speed. Then I'm gonna let y'all play. I'm gonna play this out at half speed. Then I'm gonna play this out in quarter speed. And y'all give me a caption for what went wrong, and we'll just flash this and see who gets it and who doesn't. Because I don't want to say it. You tell me what happened. Okay? All right. So let's go one. Okay. So we got him trapped. Okay. Let's go half speed on this. This play results in absolutely nothing for the Raptors. It ends up being Scottie. So to give you the end of the play, Kasparis reaches down. Scottie is able to protect the ball, runs out of options, has already picked up his handle, and I think it was called 3 in the key on Jakob Poeltl. So that's interesting. RJ was open for the cut. That's certainly, yeah. See, I knew you would get it. I knew you would get it because you play basketball. You would get it. Okay, this is it. Look, man, when you see this situation on the court, you need to get the fuck out of the way. Now, it's already congested enough with Kasparis sitting right there trying to double, right? Jakob Poeltl's right there. You want Scottie Barnes to navigate this space without the quick twitch athleticism of an Anthony Edwards. It's not going to be super easy. The Raptors don't seem to understand this because they keep putting players like this around him. But right here, the last thing you want to do is make it this easy, right? What do you do? What are you hoping to do? Right here. That's such close quarters to make a pass, man. Like your angle for making this pass. Like if you would cut directly down the middle, I could see the pass. Like cutting through the middle like this, to me, you're just bringing number 16 into the play, and now you just create congestion. And RJ Barrett just has this habit of seeking the basketball. He just wants it all the fucking time. And I understand that when you don't have a ton of space, as you don't have a ton of gravity as a shooter, that your natural tendency is to seek space, like to cut into space. They tell you to cut into space, but there is a place and time to cut into space. You cut into space when the situation calls for it. This situation called for a clear out. This situation called for Scottie to collapse the defense. This was not an RJ play, but somehow he wanted to make it about him. And I thought it was kind of crazy. I'm just going to say that. Some people are going to disagree with this. They're going to say I'm an idiot because, like RJ should have cut into space. Scottie should have passed him the ball. I just, yeah. Jack saying Rockets still up 7. 7? Shit, Philly caught up by that much? No, we had 10. We had 10. 94-104. Please, Kevin Durant, do not choke this shit, man. Are you kidding me right now? Okay. I said Brandon Ingram has been so special tonight. Honestly, did anyone else get, I'm not comparing them as players. Did anyone get a little bit of Kawhi Leonard from that shot? Did anyone else just get that little feeling of like, oh, bounce, 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 kind of roll around the rim? Now, this caption is misleading. This is not smooth at all, but this is me just being funny. Anyways, here's a Scotty play. Uh, little clunky. Scotty, Andrew Wiggins. You do like that the Heat showed Scottie Barnes some respect after the last game, getting Pele Larson off of him and putting a little bit of Andrew Wiggins on him. But honestly, this is to the Raptors' advantage. Like Scotty clearly did not really have a strong intention to score today. I said Brandon Ingram is making a statement, and boy, did he ever. 38 points. And here, Bam Adebayo caught a little bit too far back. And look at that butter smooth jumper. Perfect. And that's great, man. Not to mention the 7 assists. Very, very nice for Brandon Ingram. And Scottie Barnes, one of his 2 3-pointers tonight. We don't need to see that. Okay. Now, the Toronto Raptors hit a very big dry spell in the third quarter. And it was largely, in my opinion, due to RJ Barrett going basically takeover mode and Emmanuel quickly allowing it to happen. Look, this is the third straight possession where RJ Barrett basically decides. Now, look, you see Scottie Barnes, right? Like he's right there. He's in your way. So either have him clear out to the top, but you're just going to drive into Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins. Like, once again, there's no awareness here. You're driving into the help. This is going to be a tough shot. And, again, like it's just people get nitpicky about this shit, but really, Scottie Barnes picking up a technical foul, Pelle Larson kind of being a dick, just, pushing him in the back after the play. There's really no reason for this bullshit. And Scottie Barnes going up to him, and it was right after this that Scottie started to score a little bit more. So it's kind of interesting. It just motivates Scottie to score a little bit. I hope someone pushes him a little bit before the playoffs start. Once again, a little bit more RJ Barrett. So it seems to be like this is a trend tonight. We're just showing a lot of like negative RJ plays. Look, I'm not trying to be rude about this. A guy can be totally off rhythm, off outside the offense and still put up 23 points. And I'll argue 2 points is not 2 points till I'm blue in the face. This is just terrible. Here. Now, it's just over and over. Now again, there's nothing wrong with that shot. Nothing wrong with that shot. It's just the fact that this is where the offense is created, right? Players double down on the post to Scottie, to Jakob, to whoever. And it is RJ always presenting himself for the shot. And is obviously there's no shot he has ever seen that he will not take. And it's just like in this moment, what do you want him to do? Pass up an open shot? No, of course. That's how you destroy spacing. You need to keep taking open shots. But it almost feels like the offense is like slanted in a way to give him more opportunities. This is just weird. Scottie Barnes making sure that he gives Davion Mitchell maximum eye contact as he dunks on him. This is a Scottie in high school thing. Okay, more RJ Barrett. Not a single RJ Barrett positive play. Man, people must think I'm an RJ Barrett hater. I just hate the way he play. I just hate the way he played tonight. Like, there's 12 seconds on the clock, man. Who the fuck told you that this is a good shot for you? Like, again, this is a 17-point game. Obviously, you want to get your numbers up. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you like this? Like, sorry, it's frustrating because, Yak is right there. Scottie is right there. Both are better finishers in the paint than you. Like, I know you think it's your fucking team or that, maybe if you score 20 points a game, they're going to keep you on or give you a bigger number, extend your number. Now, this possession really threw me off, and this really put a damper on BI's big night a little bit. Okay, not completely, because I love seeing BI do what he did, but this just sucked. Okay, now here the Miami Heat are obviously going into Washington Wizards versus Bam Adebayo mode. This guy's been cooking us all night. We're going to send extra help to him. So here comes the help. It's going to come right here. So Davion Mitchell is able to ignore Jamal Shed. Obviously, Brandon Ingram doesn't get rid of it. Tyler Hero comes down for the triple team. This is going to go to Jacoby Walter, who instead of taking it, swings it over to Sandro Mamukelashvili. Perfect. Gets it over to Colin Murray-Bohls for a perfect pass. And here the Heat are able to recover. And it's just over and over. And there's a version of this where you say, this is just ball movement. This is the beautiful game Spurs. Until you realize that Brandon Ingram is pretty much at this point stuck on like 36 points. And you just realize they're just trying to get him 40. That's really what it was. They're just basically most of the second half. The reason the Raptors didn't win this game by 45 points, in my opinion, is because it just went into RJ trying to get his numbers and the team trying to get Brandon Ingram his numbers. Now, I don't necessarily think Brandon Ingram played selfishly. I think the team kind of had this idea that he wanted to, and good teams don't do this. Good teams just don't do this. Someone said KD sold. What are you talking about? The Rockets are up by 8. He has 29 points. Why did KD sell? Oh, y'all are panicking over that. Okay. Let's pull that off, pull this up, and let's get Daryl on. We will watch along the final, 1 minute and 15 seconds of this deeply consequential game. Daryl, what is up, man?
How's it going?
It is going.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Well, it's always good when Brandon Ingram puts up this kind of game.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some sort of some numbery nerdy stuff to talk about, but let's hold off on that until after this Rockets game.
Are you watching the Rockets game by chance?
I'm not watching it. No.
Hmm.
My screen is too small for all of that stuff.
Paul George is the epitome of sold. Today on the panel, as you may know, since you watch the panel, they do gambling sponsorships, right?
They do, yes.
And someone said today is this really big game for the Philadelphia 76ers, and I immediately said Paul George under.
Good thing was Jordan on? Was Jordan on there?
No, he was not on today. He would have been very upset, but yeah.
He would have been mad, yeah.
Yeah. Tariq saying, "Yo, Rob, Real Talk made a Twitter space about you. I don't care, man. Fuck that guy. I'm sick and tired of it. Honestly, we got a memo today to not bring up Low anymore, and I was for that. And then of course, Mr. Real Talk comes up and wants to bring it up. It's okay. You know what? I watched that movie I've been talking about for Penn Dance, Amal, that's coming up.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching that yesterday, and I was very scared to watch it because I hadn't actually watched that movie in almost 18 years. And I was like, oh my God, I was an idiot 18 years ago. What if it's a terrible movie? And now I'm inviting like 100 people to come watch this terrible movie. And I watched it and I was so touched. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad we picked this movie. And I watched it and I thought about like all the stuff that's happening with PC, and I'm watching that movie and I'm just like, man, I'm an asshole. Like, I just need to stop. I need to be the bigger person here. Yeah, that movie makes you like want to be a better person for sure. So yeah.
That's
Reed Vega saying, no, I need you to keep cooking low. Bro, honestly, as I said before, the whatever will be with Legend of Winning. I'm reminded of that Denzel Washington said. He said, at your highest point is when the devil comes for you. This month has been amazing for me. Like, I just paid off my mortgage. I'm feeling really good about myself. My face swelling went down. I finally stopped wearing my hat. And I'm just like, I'm feeling good, like there's a lot of good positive things happening in my life right now. And suddenly this wave of negativity, and I'm just like, man, the devil is really tempting me to like get back to my old self and like really create some drama and really create some mess for myself. And I really don't want to do it. Shout outs to Fiendstar. Another shout out to the great Nick Nurse for securing a playoff spot with only Embiid, Maxey, George, Edgecombe. We miss you, asshole.
Win. Oh, I love that. That's an awesome super chat.
Oh my God. I don't we really should have like a super chat of the year,
super chat Hall of Fame or something.
This makes the super chat Hall of Fame.
I love this.
Thank you, Fiendstar. We miss you, asshole. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, super faded. I'm crying. All right. Yes. How are the Lakers up on the Warriors? This is weird. Yes. Okay, let's see. Let's see who is doing what, and let us box score watch. Tyrese Maxey had 23 points. He had a great game. Kevin Durant had 29 points. He had a great game. Alperen Şengün with 8 points. He's a bum. Honestly, this is how I feel like some people talk about basketball.
Yep.
He had 8 points. He is a bum. He had 12 rebounds. He is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's right. Hey, remember, only what, 4 points in the league, or only 4 players in the league can average 10 rebounds a game, right? So he must be a superstar today.
Yeah, the 20 and 10, you know, thankfully Christian Wood never actually got 20 and 10, but still, yeah.
Oh man, that guy, Christian Wood.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of like people that follow the panel, like the audience, loved Christian Wood when he played.
I don't think sports betting was as prevalent when Christian Wood played, but if sports betting was prevalent when Christian Wood played, people would love Christian Wood, because Christian Wood, like, yeah, man, points, rebounds, threes, greatest player ever, right?
Yeah, dude. If sports betting was a thing back then, he would have been on his phone like every second he was on the bench, you know.
Oh man, after the last 2 days, I wouldn't call him a friend. He's more like an acquaintance, but he occasionally checks out the panel, and he's an assistant coach. I don't want to say which team, but a good team in the Western Conference. And he reached out to me, and he's just like, "You need to stop trying to explain yourself." Like, he just sent me that one-liner. Like, I think I posted something about it on Instagram, and he's just like, "You need to stop explaining yourself. Like, it's not gonna land." So I'm just like, okay, I guess that's where we're at right now. I keep trying. Keep trying. Like, the explanation, I think if a coach, and people are going to say I'm being condescending if I say this, if a coach had actually listened to the explanation of the connection between offense and defense today on the panel, like explaining how offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds impact floor spacing and transition play, like, they would have been like, yeah, this guy really understands the game. But no, not on that show. No, it was like, what are we talking about? It's just, yeah. But hey, man, like, I said this earlier to my girlfriend, and we were just talking about it, you know, and I said, my entire life I have been teased for being a nerd or smart, you know, like, for most of my youth. I mean, there was a period in there where I was kind of cool for like a couple of years, but then I went right back to being a nerd. And it was been like tested, gifted, tested, you know, top everything in my school and my, you know, and I've never found a place on earth that actually thought I was genuinely stupid until now. What a gift.
Yeah, I caught this in your last live.
Yeah, like what a true gift that is, right? To really experience the other side of this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like suddenly being in another country or a different culture, where it's like people, they see you a certain way and they will never get to know you the way that you know that you are, you know. It's like they see you a certain way and that's it. Like, they'll never actually know the real you. And it's almost like you can't speak their language, you know. You can't you can't make a connection to them with language, because everything that you're saying is just like either over their head or around their head, or it's like, it's so counterintuitive to them that they can't wrap their minds around it. But like, when I'm watching you on the panel, I'm just like, how can anybody argue what you're saying? Like, you're using numbers, you're backing it up. It's an evidence-based argument. And then everybody jumps on you and I'm just like, what?
People are going to make people want to make this a cultural thing. They want to make it a black and white thing. It's really not. I promise you, it is not.
I agree. It's not.
Like, 95% of the people I know that work within the NBA in any capacity are black. And they are not Bel Air black. They are not Ivy League educated Black. They are like normal people who live in normal circumstances, came up just like I did. And it's not a cultural thing at all. It is I
Well,
think
it's
it's an
not a
English.
race thing. It's not a
It's
race
definitely
thing.
it's yeah, but then see people will say it's an American Canadian thing, and that's why I say it's not a cultural thing. It's not a race thing. It's none of that. It's just it's a I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. Honestly, I have no idea.
It's
Like I
well,
would
I
love
do.
to. I would love to.
It's literally cooking culture. It's millennial culture versus Gen Z culture. It is in that way. It is a cultural thing, but it's
Mhm.
not a race culture. It's not a black and white thing at all. If anything, it's a generation culture thing, or like it's a certain segment of people who follow sports and see sports a certain way. So it's like they have their culture, and then it's unified enough that I would call it a culture. So in that sense, it's people like when you step into that and then you start talking the way that you talk, it's nothing like they've heard before, or and immediately their hackles go up and they're just like, got to cook this guy, get him, to
Yeah,
get him
I
culture.
am I am very unapologetically like firm in my opinions. I don't dance around my opinions. I'm not just like, well, sir, you've made a very valid point. Like I don't have that. I don't know if it's the Asperger's, but like I've never been like that. So anyways, it doesn't matter. It's yeah, yeah, I enjoy the challenge. As I said in my last live, I really do enjoy the challenge. Like there's something very rewarding about things that are hard for me. And this is very hard. It's very hard.
For sure.
You know, one of 'em, I don't know if you know this about autism, but one of the hardest things with autism is like having people talk over you or
Mm.
having 2 sounds at the same time. This is
Mhm,
something that
mhm.
used to drive me crazy. So if my dog would start barking and the fire alarm would go off, I would go crazy. Like these 2 sounds at once would drive me crazy. So 2 voices over each other, my brain spirals. It goes into mush,
Yep,
right? So
yep.
having that exposure therapy, it's almost like I don't know, like yeah, this is who I've always been. Like I shared this story on the panel. And I'm not sure if I've ever shared this here. I got bitten by a rattlesnake. Did I ever share this here?
What? No.
Ah, okay.
What?
Yeah. So
Was
I was
that was that the day after you sat next to Tommy Wiseau in a movie theater? I mean, your life is crazy, man.
yeah, no, this had nothing to do with Tommy Wiseau. So I was 16 years old, and we were hiking in New Jersey with my late uncle and my cousin, and he would always take us hiking, canoeing. He was like the most outdoorsy person in my life, and I really love him for that. And I didn't know, having grown up in the tri-state area a lot when I was a kid, I didn't know that New Jersey had rattlesnakes at all. I was I was like 2 weeks ago old when I realized Ontario has rattlesnakes. Did you know this? Did you
No.
know that the Mississauga rattlesnake
Eastern
actually
Diamondback,
exists in
maybe.
Ontario? Like, are y'all aware that there are rattlesnakes in Canada? I did not know this. But I definitely didn't know that there were rattlesnakes in New Jersey. And then I was listening to my iPod, and it had just rained, and I was sitting on a log, kind of going back and forth as we were, just taking a break to rest our feet. And everyone just kind of got up all of a sudden around me. But I'm listening to really loud music, so I can't hear them. And I don't know what they're saying. All I know is people are getting up. And I'm just like, what is it? And then I unhook my one earpod and I hear that like rattle,
Mhm.
and my brain just goes into mush because I am deathly afraid of snakes. Like so scared of snakes at this
Really?
moment.
Wow.
So I turn around, and there's this fucking rattlesnake, and it has come out of the log that I was sitting on and clearly was rocking a little bit and kind of disrupted it, and it got scared. And now
Mhm.
it's scared and it's coiling up. It starts like that S shape.
Yeah.
I'm wearing socks and shorts, and this bright idea I had was something that my mom had told me when she was really young. She said that her grandfather had stomped a snake's head out with a stick, that you have to kill a snake with its head. And again, this is like when I was 5 or 6 years old, I heard the story. So I was like, it's me or the rattlesnake right now. So I tried to kick it. That did not go well. I missed completely, and it bit me on my other leg. So I tried to kick it with my left leg, and it bit me on my right leg. And oh my God, the fucking shocking pain that I had. I'm very lucky that that was not a more venomous snake, because the hospital was like 45 minutes away. They had to like basically try to carry me half the way, and I was pretty heavy back then, so I just could not be carried. Anyways, I was so scared of snakes, Daryl. So 16, 17, 18, 19, I used to have nightmares about snakes. I used to like anytime I was near a pet store, I was like, I didn't want to go in there. A snake might be in there. I used to see a branch on the ground and think it was a snake. Like I had PTSD about snakes. And then when I was 20, I just got sick and tired of being scared of snakes. And then I'd watched Batman Begins, and then Bruce Wayne's like, is like, why bats, Mr. Wayne? Because bats terrify me. And I was like, oh, that's a powerful thing, man. Let me just do that. I'm everything I'm afraid of, I'm just gonna do it. And so I just got a snake, and I gave myself a lot of exposure therapy. And with the use of gloves, I was even able to have snakes that could bite me, and then I wouldn't get like traumatized from the bite. And I just got over it. And now I love snakes, and I have a snake. So yeah, so it's exposure therapy. That's basically the point. Exposure therapy.
There you go. Snake man.
Yeah.
We get lots of snakes here. I like to go hiking at night on this mountain. See all kinds of venomous snakes. It's great.
Venomous snakes still terrify me though. I gotta tell you, I haven't quite got over that fear. Like every now and again, I do see those online catalogs where you can get a rattlesnake or a pit viper for like $300, and I'm like, this should be illegal. This should be so illegal. I don't know how this. I mean, it is illegal, but they should be like banned from the internet. Like I don't know how this exists on the internet. I don't know how people are ordering. I don't know how someone can order a pit viper in a box and it can just show up like Amazon Prime.
Yep. Well, rattlesnakes are a type of pit viper.
Right.
But there's many more, yeah.
There are. And
I love snakes.
The most quote unquote dangerous snake I ever got was an anaconda, a green anaconda.
Nice.
That thing was fucking bitey as hell, but super chill afterwards. But the bitiest was an Amazon tree boa. That thing bit me 67 times in about 2 minutes of handling.
7. Sorry.
67. Yeah, it was just like, but. Yeah, it was insane. Oak Tree saying Black Mamba. We are not fucking with Black Mambas, bro.
You don't.
I am so scared, dude. Every you know, it's funny. Like, someone was telling me, like, oh, Black Mambas and Green Mambas, they're not that dangerous. There's this guy, Dingo, who, you know, do you know about this? Do you know about Dingo?
No.
I think his name was Dingo Dinkelman. Anyways, they were like, oh, he slept in a room with a whole bunch of mambas. He was fine. And I was like, I'm sorry to tell you, Dingo actually has passed away. And like, I mean, it's really sad that happened with Dingo, because he was really, really big animal activist. But like most of my favorite snake people die.
Yeah.
Actually, almost all of them have died. So yeah, it's scary shit. But yeah. Tariq saying pythons be scary as hell. I don't really think pythons are that scary, my friend. I really don't. I think they're really cool and they're really chill. They're all over Florida, bro. Like pythons are all over Florida. Like my girlfriend, when she went down to Florida, she went down to Universal. She had never been to Disney World and Universal, and she said there's pythons like hanging on the fucking trees.
Florida's a weird place, man.
Florida's like America's Australia. Like,
yeah,
there's gators everywhere. There's fucking spiders that like
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's the thing. Matt Raps beat saying we go into the playoffs, boys. Raps in 7 if we get Cleveland. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
Do you think the Raptors?
I think that Cleveland beats us. We beat Cleveland when they didn't have James Harden, and James Harden has always been a bad matchup for the Raptors. I think there's a 20% chance the Raptors come out of that series. 80% Cleveland takes it.
Okay. Does it swing you at all that James Harden is way older now?
Of course, but the things that he does that hurt the Raptors are things that he can still do, and that's foul baiting, and the good passing. Like that doesn't get. I mean, the burstiness is less, but the foul baiting and the passing are still there. And if anything, his passing has gotten better over the years. So it's, I don't know. I don't like Harden. I hate the way he plays, but you got to respect it. Like he does dismantle the Raptors, and you just, with Raptors in foul trouble is just no fun at all.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like, based on how Scottie explains how he wants to play and how Darko explains that he wants to play and how Ingram and RJ play and how IQ plays, it feels like, is this just an entire year of asset rehab? Is that what this is?
Mm.
Like, I don't know how that meshes. Tracy McGrady was sharing a story about when he went to the Spurs. Tracy was this huge scorer. He'd always, learned in his mind, every time you're open, take the shot. He goes to a practice in San Antonio. Greg Popovich is there, and they're practicing this drill of movement and motion. And so he catches the ball on the elbow and he's open. And just like he has every single time in his life, he tries to take the shot. And Greg Popovich stops the practice and he looks at him and he's like, "Am I speaking fucking Russian?" And Tracy was like, "I thought about responding to that, but I kind of understood what he was doing." And it's just like, it's infuriating to watch the Toronto Raptors knowing that if Ingram, Barrett, and Quickly just bought in, how beautiful this all could be for all of them, for everybody. Everybody would eat, everybody would be more efficient if the ball could just stop sticking. And time and time again, it does. And whereas tonight with Ingram, I really don't have a problem with how he played. And no criticism tonight for Brandon Ingram. Like, this is just a shot making masterclass and good for him. But I have so many issues with how many possessions were dragged by RJ Barrett and Manuel Quickly tonight. Just slow.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. And this is a good stepping stone for what I wanted to get to tonight, and that is, I loved that Brandon Ingram was hitting his shots, and I think that it was beautiful. It was just beautiful to watch him. It was a pleasure to watch him. It was entertaining. You knew that the shots were going to go in. It was fun. Here's my worry. My worry is the next game, because what's going to happen is the Raptors are going to try and replicate what happened today. Now, does that work? Does replicating BI ball work in games following big scoring outputs? So I checked out his numbers, and I looked up all of the games in his career that he scored 35 or more points. Do you want to take a guess how many games he scored 35 or more points?
Let's see, 20?
Close, yeah. Tonight was his 18th game that he scored more than 35.
Are you including playoffs?
Nah, that's regular season. Pretty sure that's regular season.
It
might be.
I'm desperately trying to be right here, by the way, just so you know. Like, my guess is 20. And you know what I want to happen? You'd be like, "Oh, with the playoffs, it is 20." Oh, I have no idea if that's true, but yeah.
Actually, I don't remember, but I think not. I think that's career. I think career he's scored 18. Is it 20? Oh, dude. Whatever, close enough to 20. Let's just go with regular season. In the regular season games, not counting tonight, because we don't know what happens, obviously, for the next game, but let's count the 17 prior games. I looked up his numbers in the following game. And in the following game, he has scored under 20 points.
Every single time?
10 times out of the 17. So seven games he scored 20 or more. In the following game, 10 he has scored under 20. And the most that he has scored in following games is 23. So after 35 plus, the highest scoring output in the next game is 23 points. His efficiency drops by an average of 10% in the following games. So he goes from like 55% to 45% in the next game. And so, and here's how you'll know his box plus minus. So his average box plus minus in games where he scores 35 or more points is 5.7. In the following games, his average is 0.7.
I was gonna say 0.3.
You're pretty close. 0.7 in the following games. So there is a slim chance that it works in the next game tomorrow against the Knicks on a back-to-back against one of the toughest matchups that, for the Raptors in the league. There's a chance, but do you really want to go into surgery and hear the doctor say your chance of survival is equal to the Raptors' chance of replicating Brandon Ingram's game? Like it's
Well,
it worries me.
that's
It
the
worries me.
beautiful thing about having depth, right? You don't need to have the same person show up every night. Now, obviously, the Raptors don't have anyone like Shea or Jokic. It's so interesting. I was looking at how many games Scottie had under 1.8 boxes, negative 1.8 boxes minus this year. I think he had 16 or 17, right? And I was looking at the Raptors' record in those games, and I posted this graphic where the Raptors had a record of like 4-12 when he's under that mark. So by far, he is the most consequential player on this team. When he plays poorly, it's really hard for us to win. And even tonight, I don't think he played poorly. He just didn't play that well. I very much doubt that tonight he was anything less than 2 boxes minus. Just a very mediocre game. But that being said, you know, I was looking at Shea and Jokic, and I was like, I wonder what their team's record is like when they're less than negative 1.8. Want to guess?
I don't know.
It's irrelevant because they never get less than negative.
They never do. Yeah, sure.
It's like
Exactly.
one time. There's like they're 1-0 or 0-1. Like it's like two times in the whole season that it's ever even happened for these guys. And then you look at players like Brandon Ingram. There's like 57 games where he's below that, or 47 games, or 37 games where he's below that. You look at guys like Grady Dick, and there's 60 games that they're below that. So it's just like, oh man, there's levels to this superstardom shit. And I think one of the major things that I think maybe is the next step for Scottie is to cut out those 16 games, to change what is an average game. And I think that that is maybe a profound thing to say. Chill always says, who are you on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Right? What can I count on you for? And it's like with Shea, I can count 23 points like that. It's like that's like 23 to 28 points is like we can count that. So Scottie, that level of consistency, that scoring aggression, that assertiveness, like what are you every single day? And I love that Scottie can be the Swiss Army knife where some nights he's going to have 14 rebounds and some nights he's going to have 15 assists. But it's like, how do I build a team around a player that on every night is going to be a different type of player? And I think that's such a role player tendency of his, because he waits for the game to figure out where to fill the gap. Whereas superstars put their imprint on the game, and then the game folds around them.
Exactly.
So he does have, like, I understand the very valid Draymond criticism, or the Pippenisms, if you will, because it is a role player tendency to try and figure out where you fit in, because Shaquille O'Neal never had to figure out where he fit in. That's just, he was there. So yeah, I think that's got to be a mindset shift with him. He's talented enough to do it. Just, I don't know if he wants to do it, but if he wants to do it, he better do it in the playoffs. And
yeah, I mean, I really want to see him step up in the, I mean, like you said, like he's banged up, but those 10 day or the week, what is it? A week or 10 days, week break. That week is going to be really, really, it's going to be best for Scottie, better than for anybody else. We've seen him when he's healthy, and he's deadly. So going into the first round, we need him to be close to 100%. We need him to be over 80% at least. We need him to be.
Once our playoff matchup is set, I really want to go and scout like who we're facing in the first round.
Yeah.
Like I want to do like in-depth film scouting, maybe for members' lives or maybe not. Like I just want to go in and just be like, okay, this tendency, this play.
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, we just haven't had a chance to do this in so long, you know. I don't think.
And like making adjustments, because it's going to be with series, you get to really know the other team. I want to see you be Penstradamus. I want to see you be early calling out specific adjustments that need to be made. It's going to be cool. You have a lot of opportunities here to, I don't know, solidify that nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really cool. Did you watch Carter Bryant yesterday, perchance?
No, but I heard you talking about it. Yeah, and I've been listening to a few guys that are really they're warming up to him.
Yeah.
So he's been, yeah. I watched this
Yeah.
guy, this YouTube guy who covers the draft a lot, and he goes back and he always like does a 1 year later sort of a re-explore the draft, and like he watches what he said first, and then he sort of updates it based on how the players played. And he was pretty high on Carter Bryant, and now he's saying like, yeah, like the jury's still a little out, but things are looking really good for him, and I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled. Hey, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
You can see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see your
Kind
screen?
of frozen a little bit. Yeah. No, you're good. We're good.
Okay. Okay. So let me just turn the music off here. So wide open threes, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's not the most impressive thing. He hit a ton of threes last night. It's the defense. It's like his ability to stay centered, twitch, and look at this contest. He's already contesting as the shot is even in motion up. They move forward. He makes another three. Damn it. Stop the music. And look at this defense. Sitting in the gap at the nail, playing the passing lane, able to recover off the passing lane on the drive, Scoot Henderson, that's a point guard, and then force a turnover. And then this one, I really like this one. This little misdirection dribble. And without over projecting, Scoot Henderson has no idea what's about to hit him to make this pass. I was just so impressed. I'm so impressed. His jump shot has finally come along. And honestly, I feel a personal stake in this because I don't remember anybody else saying that he was going to be a lottery pick. When I did, I think like when I said he was going to be a lottery pick, most drafts had him as a second round pick or like late first, max like 26th, 28th. And
he was a late climber for sure.
Oh yeah, like this is like Dyson Daniels all over again, just to have the platform to finally talk about it. Brought him up on the panel and stuff, and then like I talked about him so much that his dad reached out to me, which like it's just that's been happening quite clearly. Tariq saying Carter Bryant is already better than Grady, bro. I'm actually curious. Do you have any names on who is not better than Grady right now?
Ouch!
It's been bad. It's been really bad. Like, I gotta tell you, like this dude needs to get like serious in this offseason because his NBA career is hanging by the balance right now.
You know what it is? Like you sometimes bring up that Darko quote about how many things you try and do or how many things you're good at in the NBA. He needs to really streamline and cut out some of the stuff that was good at in high school and college, but just isn't working in the NBA. Like if he keeps trying to play his game, like he's out of the league. He's out of the league in a year. So if he can streamline, he's trying to be a star. Well, he like I don't think he's trying to be a star, but I think that he's trying to play his game, the thing that's always worked for him since he was a kid. And it's clearly not translating, like the creation stuff. Mostly the creation stuff is not translating. He needs to like when he was younger, he was a good 3-point shooter because he had a little bit more time and space to get his shot off. He didn't have to release so quickly. And in the NBA, he has to do a quicker release. Like his average release is like a second faster than it has been his whole life. And that's why he's not a great 3-point shooter in the NBA. But you can see when he has the time and space, he knocks them down. When he's in the corner, he knocks them down. It's just that he has less space on average. So what he needs to do, in my opinion, is cut out some of those things to maximize his role on the team to enough to get a foothold. And then if he wants to work on that other stuff to bring it into his game back slowly, then great. But focus on getting your shot off, sinking the faster release. Like in practice, you got to practice 3 points at the same speed as in game. So that's what he should be doing. He should be getting up fast 3-point shots from all over the arc, above the break, in the corners, like everywhere. He should be just getting the shot off faster in practice until he's comfortable with it, and then he gets it. And then obviously defense, that's a work in progress for sure, but I think he's expending so much energy trying to run around everybody when he has the ball that he's expending himself, right? Let him put his energy on defense, at least defensive effort. And then if you establish yourself as a solid 3-point shooter, you're not going to be out of the league. At least you'll have a back of the bench role. Like Jamison Battle has a spot in the NBA. Grady should be able to as well. So I think if I were in his ear, I would be like, cut out all that extra stuff for now. Just establish that you're an NBA player.
It's hard to be an NBA player when you don't have a specialist skill.
Exactly.
And yeah, like I'm actually gonna play a clip very, very short of his 3-point shooting form. Maybe we can figure this out. So this is college, and this is off the dribble step back. Okay. So I don't know how to zoom in on this any more than I'm already, on it, but that's him taking the shot.
Yeah. And it's in rhythm. Smooth.
Sure. Yeah.
But he has less time. He has to do everything faster, and his rhythm is that speed, not this speed.
Right. There's nothing wrong with his form at all.
Nothing.
This is like a Markelle Fultz situation where it's like basically, did they try to manipulate it too much? Did he try to manipulate it too much? Get some bad guidance. Now he's lost. He doesn't know. This player, this like high volume 3-point shooter, gunner, downhill athlete, can be athletic, can play make a little bit. The theory of Grady is the perfect Scottie teammate, in theory.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. This idea of like this player. But again, the theory of Scottie is also the perfect Grady teammate. But neither player is actually achieving the theory of anything, because the theory of Scottie is he's a great screener. And the reality of Scottie is he's not a great screener.
Not a great
theory of Scottie is that he is a downhill all the way attack guy who creates constant rim pressure, which he doesn't. And the theory of Grady is that he is a movement shooter who can launch off an instant. And between Grady and Immanuel Quickley, it's kind of interesting that both players are suffering from a similar thing, which is that they're brought in to do something that they specifically do not do at an elite level.
Yeah.
The threat of them, however, is what is, at the very least, they're coasting on reputation right now. That's really what it is. Any lineup synergy that players have with those guys on the court is largely, at least in part, due to the fact that teams still believe they can shoot and defend them like shooters. But I mean, if you look at the list of, like, I think there was a tweet the other day on the worst 3-point shooting teams on open threes. The Raptors are right there with the Wizards, dude.
Yep.
Like, it's bad.
Yep. No, I don't love that.
You
know what I do love, though?
What?
I do love Colin Murray-Bohls.
Me too.
And as much as I would have loved Carter Bryant, I mean, Carter is an archetype of a player that I love, and he would be close to one of my favorite players on the Raptors if he had been a Raptor. Colin Murray-Bohls is making a strong case to be my favorite player on the Raptors.
He's awesome.
The reason why I would here's why. It's because of the feelings, the feelings that he generates in my heart when I watch him play. That comes off as weird, but what I mean by that is
let's talk about the feelings, man. What are the feelings?
Let's bring them up. Yeah, I'm gonna just
Is there hope? Is there like what hopes?
It's because when I see him play, the way that he plays all the time, it makes me want to just shout like yes all the time, because I love it. And there's other players that I really like where it's a mixed bag, where sometimes I'm like yes, and sometimes I'm like no, why did you do that, or why didn't you do that? And it's a mix of frustration and elation. But with CMB, it's just all elation. Like I don't feel very much frustration. Maybe occasionally his free throw shooting is the only thing that I'm just kind of like, free throws. But everything else, I just the things he does with the ball, it makes me want to just shout all the time. So I really like that. Yeah, he's making a strong case to be my favorite Raptor. Good for him. I'm really glad that pick is working out.
Yeah, me too. Man, the Raptors could not have afforded to mess that one up. I can make a very strong argument that he was the best player in collegiate basketball last year.
I know. Yeah, he was
very strong.
He was underrated. Really underrated. I'm surprised so few people were talking about him pre-draft. I mean, yeah.
But it's
he went back to school, that's why.
Yeah, it's like, again, I have questions about what the ceiling can be because there isn't that exact like twitch burst athleticism.
No.
But at the same time, there is an incredible amount of balance. There's so much coordination. There's so much strength, right?
Oh, that's it. Exactly.
And, Oak Tree right here, Rob, do you see a young Barkley with CMB? Who do you see?
I do. I mean, besides the defense, but I can see why people are making that comparison.
I mean, Charles Barkley was freakish athletically. I think what I see is like a weird amalgamation of so many players. So I see shades of Draymond, clearly.
Yeah.
I see bits and pieces of Carmelo Anthony, like Syracuse Carmelo Anthony, like the brute force kind of going to the rim, finishing around the basket. Melo was also not like a super explosive leaper, but he found angles around the defense. I see touches of RJ Barrett in his driving. Like there's elements of RJ in his driving. His defense reminds me of OG a lot. But also like I ranked him above rookie OG.
Yeah.
So they were the same age too. So again, I think we were robbed of what peak OG could have been had he not torn his ACL. Like personally, I think like he was a lot more athletic at Indiana prior to that. But that being said, like if this guy could develop a jump shot, like he definitely retains some all-star potential for sure. He is the most likely player to make an all-star team after Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram on this team. Yeah.
It's funny. You mentioned Brandon Ingram's really great play, and I agree. And then I brought up that I'm worried about the next game as kind of a counterbalance. And then you were really low on RJ in this game, and I want to bring up a little bit of a counterbalance to your points as well.
Please do.
And I absolutely agree that there were plenty. Like RJ is the epitome of what I was talking about with players that sometimes I'm just like yes, and then other times I'm just like no. So like he's the plays that he messes up, he messes them up. Like it's just horrible. But do you know that he shot 7 for 11 in the paint today? He scored 14 points in the paint, and he missed all his 3-point shots, but in the paint he was good. The shots that he missed in the paint, there were a couple of really brutal ones where he was just chucking up a shot that he had no business taking, but he was overall like almost 64% in the paint. That's pretty good. So I checked on what the Raptors record is when RJ scores like this in the paint. And it's when the Raptors score 50, like the NBA average for a team paint scoring is 51 points in the paint. That's the average for NBA teams, 51 points in the paint. And when the Raptors score 50 or more points in the paint and RJ Barrett scores more than 10 points in the paint, the Raptors record is really, really good. It's like, I don't know, like 25-9 or something like that. Like it's really, really good. So
and what is the unifying factor between a lot of really bad teams?
The unifying factor,
really bad paint protection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, fair point. But I mean, the Raptors record when they score 50, like league average paint is way above 500. Like this season alone, I think they're 23-11 when they score 50 points in the paint. And that's average. When they score 60 points in the paint, they're much better. So That's what I can see for RJ. I
23
can
and
see,
3 or something like that, 160 in the paint.
yeah,
But again, like
exactly.
I think there has to be like there are the numbers, of course. There's the eye test, and then there's the intuitive understanding of how teams will play certain situations and how players will be schemed out in the playoffs, right? Any coach
Mm,
worth their weight in salt, any coach worth their weight in salt is going to, I think, scheme Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and probably Jakob Poeltl out of a series. Like
yeah.
that's
Well, I see
now
that.
that being said, they're kind of in each other's way because it's not so easy to scheme RJ Barrett if if the other players aren't who they are. Like for instance, if RJ Barrett was on the Clippers right now and Darius Garland, Kawhi Leonard are there with Brooke Lopez as spacing center, not so easy to scheme against RJ Barrett. So in a lot of ways, he's also a victim in this situation, right? If Emmanuel Quickly is next to again Darius Garland and you know that situation, he's fine. So basically, anyone playing that Benedict Mathurin position is very blessed in this situation. It's when you end up in this situation that I think the sum of the parts just kind of falls in on itself.
Mhm.
And I don't. I'm not sure how RJ Barrett is supposed to score in the paint against Mitchell Robinson if we face the Knicks. I don't know how he does against the length of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, Dean Wade on the perimeter. Like again, like I appreciate the scoring aggression. Like he plays with a certain verve and physicality. Like you know what would be a simple adjustment to Scottie Barnes? Add RJ Barrett's scoring aggression to Scottie
Mhm.
Barnes. There's your MVP candidate right there. Like if
Absolutely.
he had the idea in his mind of like every time I get the ball, I need to muscle my way to the basket. You don't think Scottie Barnes can do what RJ Barrett can do? Like he's a better athlete than RJ, functionally a better, way better athlete, stronger too. So if he just wanted to put his body into people and push through, rip through, and force fouls, like I'm sure he could probably figure out a way to do that. Um, but again, like if you can't beat your man clear off the dribble, if you don't have the bag work to do that, and if defenses don't really react to your drives, it doesn't do exactly the same thing. And that's why I was making that point on the panel. Like 2 points is not 2 points, you know?
Mhm.
Like Christian Wood can score his 20 points. Rasheed Wallace can score 19 points. It's a totally different 19 and different 20 based on how the court was bent. And I remember watching teams trying to guard Rasheed Wallace, and it was like the entire floor was cratering around him. And they had a good defender on him, and they still had to send help, you know? So again, like I think RJ's great saving grace is that he's become such a better passer and playmaker since he's come from New York, but I haven't seen as much of that as
No,
as I would have liked this year. So
me
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But I can see where his value is and how he can impact this team winning. And I mean, he's a very imperfect player, but I think that the Raptors could lean into this a little bit. The problem is when RJ gets cooking in the paint, defenses collapse. Now, normally what a team would do then is they would bury the other teams from the 3-point line, but the Raptors can't do that. So when the defenses collapse, they can stop RJ and they can stop the Raptors because the Raptors can't take advantage of that space on the perimeter. But when RJ is opportunistic,
Mhm.
that's where his value really, really skyrockets. So he doesn't need to be the guy with the ball in his hands, but when he's an opportunistic guy and when other guys are feeding him occasionally, then defenses don't know who to cover. They don't know what to do. And that's when the Raptors win all those games. When he is opportunistic, scoring well, high efficiency in the paint, and the ball's not in his hands, then this is a really tough team to stop.
Yeah, and I think also like the defensive floor, because I mean OG is also like he goes through his ebbs and flows offensively all the time, right? You don't know what OG you're gonna get, but there's like a defensive floor with OG. There's a defensive floor with Mitchell Robinson where okay, if they don't have it going there, they can still do something else for you. Josh Hart is the same thing. Some nights Josh Hart shoots pretty well, some nights he doesn't shoot well. He's still giving you the rebounding, he's still giving you the hustle, he's still giving you the connective passing. So when RJ Barrett is not scoring, it gets really awkward.
Exactly.
So it's like he has to score to find utility at all on the court.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think there's just such a big difference between generating offense for your team versus benefiting from offense for your team. And so much of RJ's offense, at least last year, when I looked at the numbers, was transition offense, like a lot of kick aheads, a lot of, and there was a brilliant point. I think Samson made this on his podcast with Louis Zatzman. And we were talking about Scottie at point and how the inability to bend the floor leaves the Raptors basically at the other team's mercy to make mistakes. And Scottie is just so exceptional at capitalizing on those mistakes. But those mistakes don't happen as much in the playoffs. And they definitely don't happen as much at the tail end of a 7-game series. Once you've figured out a team's pet actions, once you figure out a rhythm, you start to figure out your matchup, you get like game after game, you're guarding the same guy over and over. Again, there's less surprises. You understand their rhythm. You understand how they like to pump fake. You're not going to fall for the same mistake. You run out of tricks, basically. And in game 6, game 7, it's just a true tour de force of will, and yeah, like you're out of adjustments at that point. Like you make your adjustment after game 1. Maybe you save one in your pocket for game 2. You go back home. You probably make an adjustment for game 3, game 4. You have one more adjustment for game 5. By the time you get to game 6, we're pretty much out of adjustments at this point. And I do think that it is like probably great for the Raptors that they have CMB and Scottie, and people don't value versatility, but like one of the major adjustments that the Raptors could do if they're getting beat in space is go with a 4-5 lineup with Colin Murray-Bohls and Scottie Barnes and just completely go rough shot over the league. Like they could do something so unique with this. Imagine the following lineup: Jamal Shad, Emmanuel Quickley, Brandon Ingram, CMB, Scottie Barnes. Like you just got so much speed with that lineup. Or if you replace Jamal Shad or Emmanuel Quickley with like a Jacoby Walter just to get a little bit more size in there.
Yeah.
Or if you replace one of those guys with Sandro, and it's just like because Sandro can play 2-3 positions and Scottie can play 5 positions and CMB can play 4 positions and Ingram can probably play 2-3 positions and RJ can play 2 positions, Quickley can play 2 positions. Like this positional versatility, it's basically designed for the playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
and that would be like Cleveland's weakness is their guys are pretty much set to their positions. Like James Harden can only play 1 or 2. Same with Mitchell. He can only play 2.
Enough, James Harden is weirdly positionally versatile.
Is he?
On the court? Yeah, he's super strong. So he like when I was looking at positional versatility ratings defensively, believe it or not, he's one of the more versatile defenders in the NBA because he's able to successfully play in so many places on the court. He's pretty strong.
Does he ever guard forwards though, or
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Occasionally. Right. I don't think the Cavaliers are going to make him do that. But Mitchell is probably locked to the 1-2. Harden is presumably a 2-3 at this point, especially defensively, but probably a 2-3-4. And depending on the matchup, he can probably like think about all the players on your team, on our team. Who do you think could be matched up with James Harden? RJ Barrett, easily. Jacoby Walter, easily. CMB, easily. Scottie Barnes, easily. Brandon Ingram. He could match up with all of them technically. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be overly successful in any of those things, but like, I mean, he can do it. It's not well, but he can reasonably perform. He's not. I don't think James Harden is as bad as a defender as people think he is. Like, I think he's bad, but he's not unplayable bad. Like, he's not Trae Young bad.
He does a lot of the same things Fred did, like stripping guys when they're coming in. He's handsy, so.
He is handsy, he's disruptive, he's solid, and he has a good base. And yeah, like, I mean, he's not going to be guarding guys. He's not switching his hips and guarding, Emmanuel Quickley 35 feet from the basket and staying up with him. But at the same time, he's probably going to steer Emmanuel Quickley in a direction that Emmanuel Quickley doesn't want to go. So he's really smart. But that being said, Evan Mobley's pretty switchable, dude.
Yeah, he's like the only guy that I can see that's really pretty versatile.
Sam Merrill. Sorry, what am I saying? Sam Merrill. Wow, I'm stupid. Dean Wade. Dean Wade is another one.
Okay, yeah, Dean Wade, yeah.
I was like, yeah, you don't know about lockdown defender Sam Merrill sitting on the bench?
Yes.
I need to put you on game. Okay, Sam Merrill is basically, Peyton Pritchard on steroids right now.
I did not know that about him. Wow.
Oh my God, sorry. All white people look alike to me sometimes. I'm kidding. Please don't cancel me. My God. Imagine getting canceled by everybody all at once. It is a joke, people. Laugh. Ha ha ha. No. Yeah. Like two people just unsubscribed. They're just like, I thought you were the next Charlie Kirk. I am severely.
I thought you were with us.
I thought you were Charlie Kirk, man. Anyways, yeah, I think Cavaliers outcome is definitely a more preferable outcome. Jigsaw Puzzle saying Rob still doesn't have a soundboard.
You do have a soundboard. You just never use it. You know, one of those things you push the button and it makes a sound, has a sound bite.
I do have
you got one.
This is why I don't use it, because I'm like helplessly. There we go. There we go. There we go.
You should use that when you're on PC.
You know what? Fluent has the same soundboard that I do, and he uses the shit all the time. I always feel like I'm being intrusive if I do that, so I don't do that.
Swiper would lose his mind.
Yeah, Swipe has actually been really cool lately. Ever since we did
I've noticed that.
he's been super chill with me. And honestly, like sometimes you just need to see somebody in a different environment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see them on screen every single day, you scream at them, they scream at you, you scream at them, they scream at you. But sometimes you do something completely different, which is like not debating, you're just talking film, and you're just like, oh, this is very cool. And because of Swipe, I'm actually probably gonna give I'm not actually probably. That's a kind of contradiction. I am definitely going to give anime a chance for the first time in my life.
Go into it with an open mind. It is what it is. Don't expect something. Go into it knowing that there's going to be things about it that are going to get some time to take some. Yeah, it's going to take some time to get used to. But yeah, there's some really high quality anime out there.
Yeah, I have no idea why I've had such an aversion to it for most of my life. But yes, I will. Oh, someone actually sent this to me, and I have actually seen it. So shout outs to you. Someone did send this to me. Yes, the first Slam Dunk. This is very cool. Yes, that is a very, very cool film. I can't remember who sent it to me though. Now my memory is fading me right now because I am 38 years old and getting very old fast on the short term memory stuff. This is actually long term memory. I don't know why I'm saying short term memory. Yeah, I'm not sure who sent it to me, but somebody definitely sent this to me, and I did watch it. Oh, there you go. I think it was me. You're just following up. Yes, if you sent it to me, I did watch it, and I thought it was very cool. Yeah. Swiper Ox, who do you like more? You want to know who's getting my Valentine's card? Like, this is high school, Tariq. Who do I like more? Like, who would I rather have a beer with? Honestly, Daryl. That's my answer. I'd rather have a beer with Daryl. Yeah. I used to fear when I was younger that I would get old like the people that were old around me. That was really like a fearful thing of mine. So I'd be like 14 and I'd be like trying to explain to my mom the lingo, and she would think I was insane and talking some different language. And I'd be like, you just don't know how we dress. She's like, why are your pants so big? Why is your shirt so long? Why are you wearing triple XL? You look like a hoodlum. So I'm just like, you don't understand fashion, Mom. She's like, back in my day. So I always feared becoming that person. So I always wondered, like, how do I avoid becoming that person? And I figured one of the ways to avoid becoming that person is just always make sure that you have solid, healthy communication with people that are a lot younger than you and a lot older than you, so you have the full spectrum, right? And I think it's pretty cool that like our chat is like full of younger people and older people, which is cool. Like there's people as old as 65, 70 in our chat, and I've met some of them. And then there's people that are as young as 14, 18, 19, and they reach out. So that's cool. Yeah. AG saying hoodlum. Yes, hoodlum. She said hoodlum. I don't know why why didn't she say hoodlum? She said hoodlum. She's like, you look like a hoodlum. I was like, what the fuck? One day I came home and I was wearing like a hoodie, and I was wearing my FUBU hoodie and my stupidly oversized jeans. I have no idea why my jeans were so big. And my mom, like, I literally walked into the kitchen and my mom put her hands up. She said, "Take what you want."
That's
As
pretty
a
quick.
joke. As
Mom
a
had some wit.
joke. My mom did have some wit. There was rice cooking, there was pasta cooking, there was risotto, there was like some cheesecake in the fridge. It's just like, take what you want. Man. I don't know. Ah, yeah. They got to get buzz cuts. Do you think Cavs will go easy and let the Hawks win tomorrow? I think they cannot get the third seed now. Why would the Cavs let the Hawks win? Like, we got to look at the standings at this point. Hold on, let's check out the standings. By the way, this is where the Raptors rank in terms of wide open 3-point percentage. Do you see the Raptors? They're right next to the Kings at the very bottom. Right up there are the Hornets and the Nuggets. So the Nuggets are the best. The Hornets are the second best. The Milwaukee Bucks, surprisingly, third best. Cavaliers.
That is Con Knipple right there. They should have Con Knipple's face instead of that Hornets logo.
Really, it's I mean, he's incredible, but like the Cavaliers are a really good 3-point shooting team, and we're a terrible 3-point shooting team. I was like comparing those two things together, and I know everyone's saying we want the Cavs, we want the Cavs, we want the Cavs, but it's just like, I'm not sure you understand who Donovan Mitchell is in the playoffs, but like, you don't have a matchup for him.
I do not want the Cavs. I don't want the Knicks or the Celtics either, but or the Pistons. I don't want any of them.
Daryl, you don't want anyone. Do you forfeit?
I mean, no. I mean, it's a pick your poison. It's like, which of the deadly venomous snakes do you want to be bitten by?
Preferably the one I was bitten by, the Timber Rattler, because I didn't die.
Yeah.
Okay, if we do a deadly ranking here, the Boston Celtics are definitely okay. If you had to rank these four in terms of like how much they scare you, who is the most scary team?
Ask me after tomorrow. I want to see them play the Knicks tomorrow in a game that really matters. And I don't know. I think the Celtics scare me. They always scare me. They always destroy the Raptors. But Celtics. That's pretty good actually. The Zigzag. I think that's my order too. Boston, Detroit, Knicks, Cavs.
Boston, Detroit, Knicks, Cavs.
I might switch Detroit and the Knicks. That's pretty dead even to me, actually.
Reed Vegas saying quickly getting exploited by both. Yeah, he probably will. I mean, again, like it's really hard to say who teams are in the playoffs, man. We've seen so many teams be like stupidly dominant in the regular season. There are some markers, though. There are some success trackers, and 3-point shooting is a really big thing in the playoffs.
Yeah,
really big thing. Also, like half-court offense efficiency, half-court playmaking efficiency, the prevalence or presence of a superstar on your roster, pre-existing playoff reps, right? Like, has your team as constructed or reasonably as constructed gone through a playoff rep before? I mean, if we're being honest right now, which of these 9 teams would I pick us in a series over? The Hawks and the Heat. That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And I don't know if you saw like the video I made. Vegas is predicting a disaster for the Raptors.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Like, we had a 1 in 400 chance of winning a championship like a couple of days ago. 1 in 400. It is such a long shot. It is so ridiculous. And I feel like that'll go up now that we are probably not in the play-in.
Yeah.
But still, like 1 in 400 is insane. There's just such long odds.
Yeah.
Those are lower than Scottie Barnes' MVP odds preseason. Well,
Vegas knows a thing or two about 3-point shooting and playoff success.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine a situation in which this turns into anything but a competitive 5 to 6 game series. But
Mhm.
if there is a team that it could turn into more than that, it's probably the Cavaliers. And at that point, I think it would probably rely on Donovan Mitchell getting locked up. And it's just like, is that how we're using Scottie Barnes in this series? Is that going to be the Scottie role? Is like, and Donovan is so shifty, and it's just like they're
I don't know if Scotty's the best
guards.
suited for him.
Who would you
He's
put Scottie
so
on? Evan
quick.
Mobley or James Harden?
Mobley. I
Hmm.
would.
Yeah, having Scottie on a perimeter player is probably going to be the way Darko is going to go, and I'm going to be really mad when he does it because it's going to
Yep.
take your best rim protector away from the paint,
Yep.
and it's going to probably get Scottie in a lot of foul trouble early in the series.
Yep.
But that's why you don't build a roster with Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett as your backcourt. Like, no sensible person would ever do that, but this team did. So, that's where we're at. Also, shout outs to Emmanuel Quickley. He's been playing really well in the gaps. I really liked his team defense this year. Point of attacks, mixed results. Depends, he's not a defensive liability that people think he is. If you if you just swapped RJ Barrett for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I would have us winning a round. That's the gap right now. And people will look at the stats and they'll be like 25-5, 25-5. There's no difference. Whatever Nickeil's numbers are this year, there's such a significant difference. Having to stress your entire defense to cover for a guy. So RJ's defense, CMB's role readiness, and Darko's willingness to play him early and often in a series. Scottie Barnes showing up, Brandon Ingram hitting shots, Scottie hitting threes. This is the X factor for every single series that we play. Because in every situation, I'm assuming the Raptors are going to somehow end up with Scottie in the corner. I don't know why that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So if he has to be there, he has to make teams pay. This has to be the goal of the goals. So I know he needs rest and everything, but right now, if I'm Scottie Barnes, I am in the gym working on 1,000 corner threes every week. I need to perfect that form. I am sitting there with Brian and I am just working on corner threes because the last time the Raptors were in the playoffs, that's what sunk us, quite frankly. Him being hurt and him not being able to sink those corner threes against Philly in game 6. So hopefully he remembers that and he's just able to okay, we shot 20%, 16% for a few months there, scared some people. Now let's go out there and completely shatter the world and shoot 60% in the playoffs. I will get fired from the panel if you shoot 60% from the 3-point line.
You'd be insufferable.
Dude, I would hijack every single segment, with random Scottie Barnes trivia.
You'd show up even when you weren't scheduled. It would be amazing.
I'd be in the chat. They would ban me, and I'd be in the chat being like, do you know the last player to shoot 62% from 3 in their first 3 playoff games after a 4-year hiatus, who was 6'9" or above? Larry Bird. Yeah. All these ESPN stats that it's funny. They're very oddly specific, but also amazingly, when you think about how many players have played and how many players get steals, blocks, rebounds, assists, whatever, the number of places where it's just him and Jordan and Dwayne Wade. It's wild. Yeah. Anyway, Daryl, any final thoughts?
Yeah, one last thing I forgot. When I was talking about Brandon Ingram, it's one thing that I noticed that I think is pretty telling, which I like. Did you catch in the fourth when a CMB did something, he blew a pass or something, I don't know, and then Brandon Ingram went over and kind of put his arm around him and was chatting with him a little bit, and Alvin Williams was low-key hilarious, saying BI's saying, "It's okay, young fella, I'm close to 40, right?" And insinuating that BI was not comforting him about anything that he did, but was telling him get me the ball. I want to get my 40, which I thought it was hilarious the way he did it. But then right after that, Brandon Ingram made 3 or 4 incredibly unselfish plays in a row to finish out his minutes, where he wasn't trying to score. He was making beautiful reads and passes and setting up open guys. And I thought, that's the unselfish guy. I mean, the guy had 38 points, and the last 4 possessions, they were giving him the ball and he was using those possessions to set up his teammates. That's total unselfishness. And anyone who says Brandon Ingram is a selfish player doesn't really watch closely enough. So I really like that.
This was my post after the last game. Toronto has 99 problems, but these 2 ain't one.
Yeah, man.
I mean, grammatical horror show aside, I guess what I'm trying to say here is I really like Brandon Ingram. Like, I have hated how the Raptors have used him. I've been pretty consistent on this take all year. The Raptors have a tendency to over force feed Brandon Ingram. I think that is largely an RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley problem. I don't think anybody else really has that problem. I think it's just those two. They just like to really, that's how they think about basketball.
Yep.
You know, that's the bucket getter. Let's get him the ball. And that sort of mentality sort of permeates throughout your entire team. And it's unfortunate because I think Brandon Ingram came in here with a pretty open mind about, you know, working within the offense and trying to scale back his role. And you've seen it multiple times when it's not flowing for him, he's not just going to chuck you out of games. Like, he's definitely not doing the Mike James thing, right? Where, you know, if he doesn't have it going, or if he doesn't have the jump or pump, you know, that night, like off the dribble, and he doesn't feel like his jump shot's kind of going, like he'll happily play decoy, or he'll sit there and he'll take 12 shots, 13 shots, and he's not going to force it. Like, he'll be stuck at 13 or 15 points and he's not going to force it. And he's had plenty of those games this year. And it's not because he can't force it or because his teammates wouldn't let him force it. It's just because he understands that winning should be the priority. But then he hits 2-3 shots, and then everyone's just like, okay, Kobe Bryant, go do your shit. And then they they stop moving and they just start staring at him like he's some sort of rock star. And I'm just like, dude, he's trying to do the right thing. Y'all are basically gaslighting him into doing the wrong thing. It's very weird. And I think it shows how strong the presence of negative basketball IQ can be on a team that is otherwise stupidly unselfish. You know, you have so many players who have high basketball IQ who play the right way. Jamal Shed, I still don't think I've seen Jamal Shed force 10 shots all year. Like,
love it. Yeah.
Almost everything is in rhythm. Sandro Mamukelashvili has pissed me off for exactly one game. One game all year, you know, where I was just like, what are you doing? RJ Barrett is like every game or every other game. The shot selection drives me absolutely insane. But there was probably a 10 to 12, 15 game stretch in there where I was consistently like pleased. Jacoby Walter, again, not somebody who takes a lot of bad shots. There's just not a team that has guys who take a ton of bad shots. So, you know, when one guy does, it really does stick out a lot. And you can really understand why RJ doesn't have the extension and why RJ is always the one that comes up in the trade talks. It's because it's not because he's not a good player. It's just because the minute you exchange this for slashing and shooting that doesn't do this, that isn't a defensive liability, you'll level up so much. Because I don't think people completely understand like how much his sometimes tunnel vision drives a 10-0 run for another team, or his inability to get back on defense, or his inability to close out on a shooter will break momentum in a game at a very critical time. Like, I mean, RJ had like, I think there was a couple of games ago where he fouled a jump shooter on a 3-point shot twice, and I was about to like break my TV. Like, you're late and you foul. That's hard to do, you know. Yeah. So it's just
shout out to Mike James. Brandon Ingram just passed him today on the Raptors all-time list of most points in their first season with the team.
That's amazing. I thought he passed Kawhi.
No, he passed Kawhi a while ago. He passed Mike James today.
Who's left?
I think Mike James was the top. I think that's it. I think BI might be the top in Raptors history now.
Wow, that's amazing. That's super cool. Yeah. It's kind of sad that Mike James was at the top. So, like, my most despised Raptor of all time, above Fred, above anyone. Yeah. So
now he's lost probably his only Raptors record that he was holding.
I'm sure he holds another one, man.
Maybe.
Someone said Hidu. No, not a chance in hell, man. Hedo
No
did
way,
not have
no.
that kind of season, man. Terrence Davis saying BI looked good today. I loved his play today. Absolutely, man. Yeah. All right, Daryl. Talk to you later. Thanks a lot for calling in,
Man.
as always. Appreciate you.
For sure.
See ya.
For sure. See ya.
See ya. Always great to talk to Daryl. In light of what a Twitter space going on in my honor right now. Damn. I'm gonna hop on to Raptor Spaces if it's still going. If it's not going, I'm just going to go clean up a little bit. It's been kind of a difficult few days. I don't know if anyone is in Portland right now. I just want to bring this up. The panel is live tomorrow at the Moda Center tomorrow night, right before the game. It's very cool, right? And Baba G got saying thoughts on the Carson DeMar situation. Huh? What's Carson DeMar situation? DeMar DeRozan? What is the situation? I'm trying to Google Carson DeMar. Oh shit. Oh shit. Nerd sesh? Oh damn. Okay. DeMar DeRozan only needs to average 18 points per game for another 105 games to surpass Shaq in career points and enter the all-time top 10. I find this deeply disturbing. Disturbing? Fuck that mean. Who the hell is you to have an opinion on somebody's career, clown? I think it's weird that your teams have been better with you off the court for your entire career, and you are probably going to end up with more career points than Shaq. That's what it means. And it's weird you live behind a computer, dweeb. Okay. Let me just say this. Carson is right. DeMar is wrong. Sorry. That's what I'm gonna say. Carson's right. I don't necessarily agree with everything Nerd Sesh has to say, but he's right. Like DeMar's teams have always been better with him off the court. DeMar's a hell of a basketball player, hell of a career. I really love DeMar DeRozan at Compton High and USC. It's a very similar story to Scottie Barnes in terms of like how much belief I had in DeMar. It's also very similar in the fact that I drafted DeMar to the Raptors 3 years before he actually got here in a frigging NBA 2K draft. But that being said, and yes, I do have picture evidence of that on Facebook, with a very shitty creative player, DeMar DeRozan, dunking on somebody in NBA 2K6, 2K7, it might have been. But yeah, yeah, I agree with Carson. And this idea of like, who are you, dweeb, and this stuff, it's just sensitivity, really. Having to call somebody a dweeb, you know, just because they find it disturbing that you're about to pass Shaq. Like Shaq's one of the greatest scorers of all time. DeMar DeRozan is not. So, you know, it's a longevity thing. I feel the same way about LeBron James beating all of Michael Jordan's records. I do find that disturbing too. But when it comes to DeMar and Shaq, there's not a gap. There's a Grand Canyon size gap between the impact of those two players. Always will love DeRozan as there's no Kawhi without DeRozan. If a person's greatest contribution to your team is what they netted you in a trade, I understand why some people hate him. I don't hate DeMar. I actually really have a lot of respect for DeMar. He zapped every ounce of potential from what he could do. Like his God-given gifts were dunking and running. And when those faded, his craft became meticulous. I hope that every single player that currently plays for the Toronto Raptors works as hard as DeMar DeRozan, loves this game as much as DeMar DeRozan, gives as much to this game as DeMar DeRozan, is as selfless a teammate as DeMar DeRozan, is as generous to young players as DeMar DeRozan, is as good for team culture as DeMar DeRozan. But also, I would never, ever, if I had a son, I would never want them to watch DeMar DeRozan play basketball. It's losing basketball. He takes an insane diet of mid-range shots. He does not play defense, and quite frankly, he holds on to the ball for way too long. He became a much better player in San Antonio, a much better passer, and I think that's my saving grace with him. But man, DeMar as a player in Toronto, just no, and that's where he put up the majority of those points, and obviously he's continued to score. And much like Brandon Ingram, teams just love to give him the ball. Players love to give him the ball. Players have a very different opinion about DeMar DeRozan than analysts do. But Carson puts a lot of time into Nerd Sesh, as does Ben Taylor with Thinking Basketball, as do I. And I'm not comparing myself to Nerd Sesh or Thinking Basketball or whatever. Um, a lot of content creators, good content creators at least, they put a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of hours reading, learning. And Carson's played basketball. If you've seen Carson, like he's 6'4" ish, probably. I've played basketball. We've all played basketball. I mean, I don't want to say all, but a lot of people who talk about basketball have played basketball on some level. I know Ben Taylor played basketball as well. He had an injury. So, some of us take the Larry Bird route to success. Some of us take the Danny Ainge route to success. And I'm not saying Danny Ainge wasn't an awesome basketball player, but he wasn't a superstar. He became a superstar in front office, right? Darko Rajakovic was a basketball player. Darko Rajakovic became a coach because he was 5'11", 6 feet tall, and he realized he didn't have much of a future in basketball. There's a lot of people who shift paths because they love this game, and then they dig into it from an analytics perspective or from a coaching perspective or a scouting perspective. And being this kind of like snob about like, okay, well, if I'm a player, you can't talk about me. I think that's lame as fuck. I've had players reach out to me and, ask me to look over their game tape because they think that I might see something their trainers might not. And I've always done it pro bono. I've never charged a dime, even though they're multimillionaires and I'm not a multimillionaire. It's always been love. Like, I love this. You know what I mean? I love this. Like, if Carter's dad wants reached out to me, which he did, and said, look at this play. What do you see here? Like, what do you see that's going wrong? I'm always going to give him honest feedback. I'll talk to him for 20, 30 minutes. If one of my clients or one of my friends is a trainer and he has a kid in high school or in university and he wants me to look over some game tape, I'm going to look at it as that's a favor for a friend and that's really cool. And I get to watch basketball. Like, why am I not like, but because I'm not as good as the player whose tape I'm evaluating, I can't offer perspective on that. Like, it's going to help the player. If DeMar had ever paid attention to the analytics, he would have known that there was a way for him to win more basketball games. So, shout out to DeMar DeRozan. He's a huge, huge, huge part of the culture that the Raptors built. Every single player who played with him would probably tell you that he was their favorite teammate, or one of their favorite teammates. And he's a real one. Like, he's an absolute real one. Like, he's a really good person. I know people who knew him. I never really had a chance to meet DeMar, which is kind of crazy because I was in and around that scene a little bit. I've had a chance to meet a few Raptors, but I never had a chance to even meet DeMar. I never had a chance to shake his hand. I've seen him I've gone to games, but I never had a chance to even dap him up, which is crazy to me because, the entire We the North era, he was here for a long time, 9 years. And just for some reason that never happened. So I got to meet Jose Calderon. I got to meet Jorge Garbajosa. I got to meet Andrea Bargnani. I got to meet a lot of people, but I never got a chance to meet DeMar DeRozan. So, have you met Kyle Lowry? No, I never got a chance to meet Kyle Lowry either. So that's kind of, strange. I've met Masai Ujiri. I've never met Kyle Lowry. I have never met Kyle Lowry. Yeah. I was thinking, like, did I attend a event once where he was kind of there? Yeah, but I wouldn't call that meeting. I was just there. Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh. Yes, I have met Chris Bosh and Mo Pete and JYD. And as I mentioned, Andrea Bargnani, Rasha Nesterovich, a lot of those guys, Anthony Parker, TJ Ford. Yeah, there was a time. Yes, and shout outs to Darko Rajakovic. That's dope, man. It's very, very, very dope. And also Vince Carter. That's also very cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm sure Brian Colangelo Yes. Brian Colangelo, yes. Tim Lawicki, yes. Kevin O'Neill, yes. Jay Triano, yes. Jack Armstrong, yes. A lot of people. Any life advice, Rob? I've never actually been offered a platform to talk life advice. I usually just launch into it. Life advice, life advice, life advice. Nothing's really coming to me right now, Tariq. I can't really think about life advice right now. I think reflecting on this entire, shitstorm, um, I was thinking about why situations like, and this is not life advice, this is a reflection. And I don't think I'm giving you life advice. Rudy Gay, Terrence Ross, no and no. Um, Amir Johnson, yes. Shout outs to Amir Johnson and Keon Clark. Shout outs to Keon Clark. Super cool people. Um, yeah, I was thinking about this like need sometimes to be in environments where I'm being. Did you get any death threats this past week? Yes, actually, a few. A few. Yeah. A couple of death threats, weird number of Lucas Nagara. Nope. Nope. No Lucas. No Bebe. I was thinking about this and I was just like, to the people who've watched this channel for a while, I've mentioned a few times, not the greatest upbringing, sometimes a lot of abuse in my childhood. And there was a constant like threat in my childhood, not just from adults in my life, but also like environmental factors, like people at school, people who were older, people in your neighborhood. There was always like that threat of you could get jumped at any time, you could get shot, things like that. And that felt familiar. That feels very familiar to me. Feels very familiar to me. That idea of like walking down a street and having to watch your back, that's very familiar to me. When I walk into a neighborhood where something like that cannot happen, I'm actually very uncomfortable. When I walk into like a gated community that's like white picket fences and everybody's playing, I'm like immediately put off. I'm like, this is very uncomfortable. Something bad is happening here, which is really backwards. So a lot of times people have tried to pay me compliments. They'll say like, "Oh, you're so talented, so smart, so generous, this, whatever." And usually I start to I typically like dodge eye contact. I'll deflect it. I'm not usually someone who takes compliments very well, and most people in my life really know that I don't take compliments very well. And for a long time, people have assumed this meant that I was humble. It's not because I'm humble. It's because I don't know how to receive compliments because I didn't hear a lot of compliments growing up. I can count the number of compliments I actually received from caregivers and primary caregivers on one hand. One of those compliments is Rob is handy because he knew how to change a bulb, which is my uncle saying that. People didn't very often tell me that I was good at things. And what's fucked in the head is I was good at so many things. I was pulling straight A's. I was working. I played sports. I was good at sports. I was smart as fuck. I was talented. I painted. I mean, when I was 16, 15, 16, I started to get really, really into oil painting and even sold several paintings. Sold. There are people who paint their whole life and don't sell anything. I sold 7 paintings by the time I was 17 years old. I was an investor. I was deeply curious. I again, like, worked many jobs, made quite a bit of money, bought my first place when I was 18 years old. And yet I didn't feel like I was good at anything because I really didn't get that feedback. And now, because I didn't get that feedback when I was younger, I find it very uncomfortable to be in situations where people aren't constantly like criticizing me. Like I almost find it like very comforting to be in a situation like the panel where everyone's calling you stupid and talking over you and saying you're an idiot and you're lame and you're this and you're that, because that to me is normal. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with people telling me I was a piece of shit, that I would never amount to anything, that I was no good, that I wasn't doing enough. And weirdly enough, I succeeded. And that's a really big problem in life is when you succeed in a bad environment, you start to think that the bad environment led to your success. There's a lot of people that will go out and beat their kids because they say, well, my parents beat me and look at how, and I turned out fine. It's a really insidious thing to understand this. And this is where I say basketball can be a good analogy for this. It's perfectly possible to be in the worst environment possible and still succeed. But that doesn't mean that the worst environment possible should then be replicated and relived throughout your life, right? Um, you're so much better on your channel than PC. I like the calm pen. Like, calm is a matter of nervous system regulation, right? Like, I'm no one's screaming over me here. Daryl and I had a conversation. We were generally agreeable, but even if we're having a conversation with Coach Mo where there might be a disagreement or whatever, there's really a space for everyone to talk. It's pretty normal, right? And again, there's so much going on about me right now. There's people thinking I have burners where I'm saying words that I've never said in my life. There's people saying I hold opinions politically and otherwise that I've never said in my life. I know who I am. But when 1,000 people swear they also know who you are, they walk into every interaction with you with like an understanding of everything you're doing. So anytime somebody in the comment section starts to be like, Pen's a really good guy, they'll be like, oh, see, Pen found the burner. Right. So now I'm thinking, at what point is this just rumination? Do you know that the most stuck people in life are also sometimes the most self reflective and smartest people in life? Do you know the ability to describe your problems has nothing to do with actually solving your problems? The people who can explain all their phobias and all their hangups and all their problems, everyone says that they're so profound. They're like, oh, wow, you're so philosophical. You're so smart. You're so self reflective. But actually, what you're really saying is this person is so stuck because they've spent so much time evaluating the past and the present that they've never really thought about the future. And one of the things that I would like to do is really get unstuck. And I hope, you know, like, I really do not pray that anybody out there was beaten, to a pulp as a child. I hope that nobody out there had a parent that broke one of your ribs. I think that's horrible. And I would never wish that on anybody in my wildest dreams. I would never wish that on anybody. But if that did happen to you, if something like that did happen to you, don't repeat it, and definitely don't think that it built your character. No, what it did was it broke your ribs. What it did was it put a cigarette out on your arm. That's what it did. And the cigarette that was put on your arm might have made you really, really mad. And maybe getting mad in that moment made you want to go out and get a job and, fend for yourself. Maybe, getting jumped by those 6 people made you want to get to the gym and it made you really fit. There's a lot of good things that can come from damage, but that doesn't mean that damage is a good thing. The healing is a good thing though. And I'll leave you with a final thing. Um, Bo Nix Muse, do you think you have multiple personalities? No, I definitely don't have multiple personalities at all. Um, at all. No. I've been accused of being a pen burner on other forums. Well, maybe I should do my live streams like this so that people know for sure that I am not a burner of myself. I'm actually very curious why you asked this question though. Uh Pen, aren't you just a villain on PC? It makes things more interesting. I mean, sure. I mean, if you think of Player's Choice like a little bit of a soap opera, then sure. It kind of helps to have somebody who kind of, I mean, oh my God, that is such a real talk response. Like, I swear to God, like, if you didn't tell me, if I didn't know that you have been in this community for a long time, I'd just be like, yeah, that's real talk right there. Rohan Universe says Rob's life advice always hits. Yeah. I have multiple personalities. Tragically, none of them are interesting. Bonix said, I feel like people will gain respect if you show up to the events. Number one, I wasn't invited to the Portland event. Number two, the 2 events that I have been invited to over the last couple of years have both coincided with Penn Dance. And the 3rd event, which I agreed to go to and actually got my passport renewed to go to, and canceled a work gig, which was paying thousands of dollars to actually go to, got canceled. So at this point, like, I'm not crazy about, like, I'm not, wow, bipolar. No, sir, I am not bipolar. I'm sure that I could have asked to come, but I felt like there's really no need to push it. It's a really big moment for Player's Choice. Like, it really is. And, you know, it would also be cool if PC could get a good photo of you. I have not provided them with a good photo of me, and this is at least in part deliberate. Um, you can tell from my content that my face is not a really big part of my content. That's just not how I've chosen to do this. There's a reason why Pensare Basketball is not named my name. It's Pensare Basketball. And, you know, when NBA players or NBA trainers or whatever talk about Pensare Basketball, I want them to talk about a brand and I want them to talk about a platform instead of a person. People die, you know? It's much easier, I think, to expand what we're doing if we do this as a brand. Now, yeah, Legend of Winning, opposite of low. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, I don't need to put my face on everything. I don't like to put my name on everything. A lot of people think my last name is Pensare because Pensare Films, Pensare Basketball, but Pensare literally means to think. My name is not featured in any of my companies at all. Do you know why this is? Because as a kid growing up, I hated this guy who was running around my city putting his name on everything, and his name was Donald Trump. Do you think if you were to show up to events, you would have to fear that you'll get jumped? No. You think I'm afraid of getting jumped? No, I am not afraid of getting jumped. No, not at all. I don't know if you're being serious. I have no idea if you're being serious. You've asked me so far if I have bipolar disorder, why I don't show up to events, and whether I fear that I'm going to get jumped. No, I am not afraid at all that I'm going to get jumped. I don't think anybody on the panel is trying to jump me. If there's one person who's crazy enough to try, trust me, we could scrap. But I don't I don't really think it's that serious. I think he means they will pile up on you. No, I think he legitimately thinks that I'm gonna get curb stomped and jumped. Uh, or NDAs or contracts will be signed because if something were to go down. NDAs don't NDAs are non-disclosure agreements. They don't stop you from beating the crap out of somebody and facing criminal charges for that. Like, I don't get to get you to sign an NDA and then, oh, surprise, I beat the shit out of you and now, you know, you signed an NDA. That's not how that works. I'm not sure if that's what you're implying. Why does everyone want to get violent? Scott, Scottie or Barney, where people need to meditate. People desperately need to meditate for sure. My girlfriend meditates every single morning, and it's definitely helped her out a lot. Worked for Diddy until it didn't. Oh, I think he means waivers. This guy doesn't know what NDAs are, or bipolar, or jumped. I think we need to start asking Bo Nix Muse some questions, i.e., are you bipolar? Are you literate? Are you older than 12? Like, Terrence Davis saying Diddy about to get released. For real? Why would I keep up with this? But Diddy is very, very rich. So I can definitely see why that would be happening. Yeah. I don't know, man. I thought about it, bro. Like, y'all understand. I'm a professional editor. I get paid. I mean, this is not a brag. This is not even a lot of money for editing. I'm gonna get paid up to $150 to $180 an hour to edit content, edit reels for other people. Now I don't do this shit for myself because I don't really believe in brain drain content, right? Oh, NDA because if something goes down, don't want to talk about it because they try to sue. I personally, okay, look, I'm not gonna suggest that I'm a lawyer in any ways, but I did want to be a lawyer at one point in my life. And there used to be close to 100 legal Canadian texts and tort law and all sorts of law textbooks behind me. and I'd read through a lot of them. I can promise you there's no NDA that is going to stop you from being able to report a crime of the physical nature that you are discussing. I know what a non-disclosure agreement is. Yeah, I'm sure you do know what a non-disclosure agreement is. I'm just not sure you know what umbrella of law you're talking about. And um, you're way too honest to be a lawyer. My mom said the same thing. Yeah, my mom said the same thing. She's like, "You don't know how to lie, so you'll never be a good lawyer." I thought to myself, I just won't represent anyone who's guilty, and that way I won't have to lie. And then she's like, problem solved, right? No, I don't think I would have been a good lawyer. But that being said, I've looked into enough law. NDA doesn't protect you from court. Yeah, like a non-disclosure agreement is meant to protect trade secrets, right? Meant to protect details of private conversations. Like there's an umbrella under what you can, you know, um, hypothetically. Like if Penn were to somehow win a 1v6, you think they'd be willing to share that Penn beat us up after all the they do it? Bro, I'm a 38-year-old man. I promise you I am not getting bullied. First of all, and second of all, I am also like a mortal sized human being. I am not a superhero. I don't think I can beat up six people unless the six people I'm beating up are like, I mean, honestly, like, do you think I am secretly Ken Shamrock or Batman or something? I can't beat up six people now. Maybe, but way back. But even then, like, I don't think I was ever that good at fighting. I'm not bad at fighting. I just want to be clear about that. I'm not bad at fighting. I've won a lot of fights in my life, but I don't think I've ever been good enough at a fight that I could beat six people that are all pretty much bigger than me and heavier than me. Like that would take. They would have to be like so fucking stupid. Like they would have to attack one at a time and they'd have to be like drunk. Okay. Uh Ken Shamrock, nice reference. You, what's going on? I just tuned in. Who we fighting? Bro, this is like that line from The Town. Do you remember that? Do you remember that line from The Town? Bro, I need a favor. We're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we taking? That's you, basically. What's going on? I just tuned in. Who are we fighting? Let's go. Which car are we taking? Whose car are we taking? Yep. Like a Bollywood film. Yeah, man. It drives me crazy how in some Bollywood films these guys be fighting like one at a time. But also, let's not single out Bollywood for no fucking reason whatsoever. It happens in Hollywood films too. A lot of people be fighting one on one. And I'm just like, dude, why are we doing this? Yeah, Bonix, I'm not entirely sure at this point if you're a real person or if you're a troll account, but shout outs to you. It's been kind of entertaining. Uh Sometimes the defeats don't come from where you expect. Like I bet Bam never imagined his 83-point game would defeat him, but it did. It really did. Like I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but he just feels like a fundamentally different player. He's just launching threes from nowhere. Um Pan is Rambo. See, now I'm kind of low key pretty sure that you are a troll. Stone Cold Steve Pensare. This feels very sarcastic. Like I'm clearly not Rambo and I'm not Ben Affleck and I don't know what you're going on and on and on about. And I'm pretty sure you're about to drop something crazy here. But yeah, I mean, again, sounds like somebody posted a video of me today, some random account that had to block, singing Craig David's 7 Days. Why did I do that? Why did I ever do that? Why the fuck did I do that on a live stream of all things? Knowing how many haters I have, thank God I can actually sing. All the signs say I should hate Penn, but I have to watch his channel so much that I have a bias towards Blaze. Why should you hate me though? What have I done to deserve your hate? Just curious. Speaking of NDAs, I'm going to be in a TV show. Bring it up because they made me sign some sort of waiver or something. Okay, should you be discussing that on the internet? I don't know if that was a joke. That could be a joke. Sometimes the feet. Read that already. Was it a low puppy? Hmm. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Shout outs to you guys. It is past midnight, and yeah, shout outs to everyone who tuned in. I might need to take like a 1 day hiatus from the internet. I know I can't because we got a post game live tomorrow, but maybe like tomorrow I'm not gonna be on the panel obviously, and tomorrow's game is actually during the panel. So yeah, the post game live. Um, because everyone on the panel and Watch PC hate you. I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't. I promise you, you're not the only person who doesn't. You have no idea how many people have reached out to me privately and said that, "Yo, Pen, I watch you on the panel. You're my favorite panelist." Blah 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 blah. I don't know why these people don't comment in real life. Probably because they have jobs and real lives, and they don't watch the panel live, or they're not members. Like, there is a dedicated community that talks and consistently talks in the chat, and honestly, if you're watching the names, it's like 150 people that basically comment over and over again, and they don't like me, and that's okay. Hope the Raptors players are sleeping already. Yep, rest, recovery, cryo chamber, huge thing. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat some food, some good food, ideally, and I'm gonna clean my living room. I am sick and tired of this living room, and also, yeah. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. Peace. And once again, thank you to Fiendstar for this incredible, incredible super chat. It's awesome. Peace.